You've got to get a hold of yourself.
Now you're playing with power. Don't talk to me! 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 It's the waves of the underground. Don't talk to me! Now you're playing with power. Don't talk to me! 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 It's the waves of the underground. Don't talk to me! Check the technique!
Hey, on3 Watcher. Looks like you're the first one here today. Which, actually is surprising. Usually it's Seth. One sec. Let me ping him, see what he's up to. Let's see. Alright, there you go. Hey, how's it going, on3 Watcher? How's your day going? I'm just about to get started on another 50 runs of WSK2. Again, it's going to be a long process, making it to, what is it, 1,000 runs? Yeah, it's going to be a long, long process. Anyway, let's see. It's good though. I have an 8:30 work call, so it won't be a late one for you. Yeah, that's fine. How many months until the reset? I assume you mean for this private server slash? 2 months, I think. We're actually at the halfway point. We just crossed the halfway point. The last reset was early April. I think, yeah, early April. So, yeah, it's about that time. Well, maybe not about that time. That's like 2 months from now, but anyway. Yeah, if you're interested in joining in, then yeah, 1,000 runs seems impossible. Ah ha 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 ha. Well, yeah. If I maintain 1,000 runs per, sorry, if I maintain 50 runs per week, then 1,000 runs is probably not going to happen. But there's going to come a point where I'll hustle. This is usually what happens. Like, I play when I can throughout the season, and then after a certain point, if there's a specific goal that I want to finish off, then I tend to hustle a bit more towards the end. Sometimes, not always. Like last season, I was supposed to do 1,000 or 2,000 trav actually, and then I settled for only 500. The season before that. Well, I don't want to talk about the season before that. The season before that one, I ran, I think it was 5,000 pindles. And then it was, after that, 5,000 pindles. And then 1,000 pit. Yeah, I remember now. It was, yeah. So funny you should mention that. I won a D2 Siddiqui in Llama's sweepstakes. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know. In the past, I used to be a big sucker for Siddiquis. Like, if that's offered as a reward, then great. But at this point, I'm a little bit more. I'm not as hyped for Siddiquis anymore. I don't really think I need to explain why. I no longer need them, among other reasons. Even if I weren't playing on Slash, I still wouldn't want to play on Being Hit. I'd rather play a single player. Even that's more fun. But yeah, congratulations on your Siddiqui. Nice that you were able to get one. Although I'm kind of surprised, just a little surprised. I think last time we talked about D2, you said that one of the reasons why you don't play, it's not that you don't have a Siddiqui, it's because of time. So I'm surprised that a Siddiqui, or winning a Siddiqui, was what is getting you on board with playing. You don't need a CD key to get the game. Oh no, well, you don't need a CD key if you're playing on like something like Slash. But yeah, that's not even what I was referring to. I was referring to, you were saying last time that indeed, need the game even for Slash. What do you mean you need the game even for Slash? You don't need the game to play on Slash, or you don't need a CD key. Yeah, you don't need to have like a legit CD key, I should say. So you still technically need like a CD key from the internet, like one of the ones that will allow you to install the game. But there's a lot of CD keys out there that are available, but which don't actually let you on BNet, right? So you just need one of those and you're fine. Having said that, though, yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know when you plan to play, but I do think it'd be pretty cool for you to, like, I say this in earnest, like, it would actually be pretty cool for you to get back into the game. I wouldn't even be recommending, in your case, because, well, yeah, I don't know. I think you probably, if you are gonna hop back on, D2, try playing on Friday with the ladder reset. That actually might be fun. The first couple of days of ladder, it's not completely overrun by bots yet. I mean, like public games, so you'll get like a lot of human players to play with, like in tomb runs and whatnot. So that much is fun, and trying to like race people to like the top of the ladder is also its own journey. Well, I shouldn't say to the top of the ladder, but just farming, I guess. Okay, that's the end of the first run. 4 minutes, not too bad. But anyway, yeah, I just think that, yeah, ladder reset, of course, is always prime time, and there just so happens to be one on Friday. And whether or not I plan to participate is probably going to be no, but Hey, Luciano, what's up? New drops? No. Oh, hold on, something's not right here. I didn't... Oh, what did I leave off at? I think it was run 155. Hey, hold on. I'm on the wrong run number. I remember... and I didn't leave myself a note either. I think 155 was what I left off at last time, so I'm actually on run 157. Let me actually confirm that from the previous stream. If I just take a quick look here. Yeah, okay. So I'm actually on run 157. Run 157. Okay, yeah, sorry about that, guys. Let me... was just tallying everything up. Now, as I was saying, though, there haven't really been any good drops today. I just started, though. I just did, like, my first run, so you came just at the beginning. So sadly, no new drops, sorry to say, Luciano. But yeah, hopefully today we'll actually get something. We're at already run 157, and I haven't found any, like, high runes or any, like, big finds that I can sell for a good amount. I mean, I found a COA off stream a while back, but that's probably been my best find so far. And frankly, I don't plan on selling the COA because I want to use it for myself. Oh, let's just fade. Okay, there you go. Let's see. Honestly, I would probably just go single player for a bit, then realize I don't have enough time. I'm sure I'll be terrible at it. Alright, well, I mean, honestly, you know what I've told you before, like when you're terrible at something, you get the most fun out of it. Having said that, though, I mean, it's totally up to you how you feel like playing. Even as terrible as you might consider yourself to be, I would even still, I even vouch for online, just because I feel like this game is just way more fun when you have others to play with. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I wouldn't myself play online, but I think there's a slight difference between, like, myself playing online and you playing online, because in your case, you haven't played the game in a really long time, so this would actually be prime time for you to hop back on and try it out. But anyway, yeah, it's just my thoughts. At the end of the day, it's up to you. If you want to play BNet, you want to play single player, now that decision is completely yours, of course. Sure, I'll be terrible at it. I haven't played in so long. Or Hammerden's still a thing. That used to be my favorite. Oh, hold on a sec. They got mited back here, so I gotta be a little bit more careful. Okay. Come on, just die already. Anyway, yeah, Hammerdens are still definitely a thing, but the reality is, like, O-skill teleport is just like, you can't compete with that. Sorks are still always going to be number one. I can almost assure you that in a lot of the lobbies that you would join in on, like, I assume that you're talking about if you were to play on BNet, like, are Hammerden still a thing on multiplayer, like BNet, versus single player, but like, the reality is, Hammerdens are a thing, but they're not usually the class that people start with. Usually people will start with Sork. Sork just offers way too much, I guess, like, because of their stupid teleport skill, and because of Blizzard. Blizzard, like, if your goal is to min-max, then yeah, probably, Blizzard for most people is the way to go on BNet. So, just, yeah, if that's what you're asking about, then yeah. But Hammerdens are still strong, of course. It's just that they don't, you know, if you want to, like, early ladder, people usually try to rotate, like, let's say Mephisto, maybe like LK, trying to think what else, right? Like, mostly act bosses, maybe Pindle on BNet because of the stupid realm down, so people have to, like, here on Slash, you know, I can run whatever I feel like as many times as I want, right? And I never have to worry about realm down. Like, if I wanted to run 15-second LK, I could do that and never have to worry about getting timed out. But again, on BNet, realm down is an issue, so because of that, people have to fluff up their runs with, like, other things that add runtime. So they'll pick things like Bindle, maybe Shank, what other things? Obviously bosses, they might run Andy with Mephisto. And yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I just buy an Enigma online. I can use all the cash I haven't been sitting on subbing to you. Yeah, I mean, go for it. Honestly, yeah. It would be a much better use of that money, to tell you the truth. You might actually get some enjoyment out of that, just insta-buying an Enigma. Hey, what's up, fatty? Yeah, someone found Tyrael's 12 hours ago. Yeah, no, I saw. I was lurking, and I did actually see that indeed somebody did find a Tyrael's Might. Especially after he had just said that, yeah, he left it un-ID'd and he wanted people to wish him luck. And, well, I guess luck was given, because it did end up turning out to be the Tyrael's Might. Fabled Tyrael's Might. Yeah, no, it's pretty awesome. I mean, here's the thing, like, here on Slash, like, you have no drop 0, so the odds are a bit better for Tyrael, well, are much better for Tyraels, but even then, it's not like it's an everyday occurrence. There's still quite a rarity. Very prestigious item. Anyway, yeah, so like I was saying, though, like, Hammerdins are still 100% a thing. Like, if we're talking single player, Hammerdins are probably your best, in quotes. Probably your best bet at getting through the game. They're safe, right? Like, they have high block chance, they have good resistances because of their stupid paladin shields being ridiculously busted. They have, what else? Obviously insane damage on their hammers, and there's like very few monsters who are immune. So single player playthrough, if you were to pick like something, if you really enjoyed Hammerdins, and you just wanted something that'll get you through the game, then yeah, go for Hammerdin. Like, I don't usually like to recommend Hammerdin. I honestly think that Hammerdins are like one of the most boring builds in the game because they're just not that enjoyable to play, in my opinion. But of course, again, like, if you really enjoy it, then, well, yeah, go right ahead. It's world's your oyster. Okay, now let me just, okay, there you go. Are Hawes still like the best shield? Oh wow, yeah, oh man, you really have been out far. I thought that you played back when I used to back the last time I played on BNet, like ladder resets. I thought you were around for that, weren't you? I guess probably not. Maybe you just watched. I guess you probably just watched. You never played, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Okay, well, in that case, then it depends what you define best shield. Once again, like I'll tell you, if you want, I'll just tell you the meta for Hammerdins. Okay, like Hawes still the best shield. So most people go the following. Okay, 125 FCR or just, well, yeah, max FCR breakpoint is usually king. Except for some reason people like to go 105 on Sort, probably because you have to give up too much to hit 200. But or it's not easy to hit 200 without sacrificing, well, a lot of things or getting like crazy equipment. But in the case of a Hammerdin, this isn't a problem. I'll tell you how you would build a Hammerdin endgame. Okay, it wouldn't actually be Hawes. You would actually be going Spirit Shield in a 45 all-res Sacred Targe. Because Sacred Targe has like I think it has actually the lowest strength requirement and the the highest block chance. And yeah, people just look for a 45 all-res Sacred Targe and they just build a Spirit in it. Now, here's the catch. You don't get nearly as much damage as you would a Hawes, but you get 35 FCR, and then you use that FCR, along with FCR from, say, Arachnid Sash, Mage Fists, trying to think what else here, right, Hodo, and, yeah, I think, like, your Amulet, too. I think that's how the build works, and then you have 125 FCR, and then you could just throw on like a Shaco. You can throw it on like SOJs if you want. You could put on like War Travs or whatever boots you feel like, and there you go. There's your Hammerdin. It's not Hammerdin is not particularly interesting in terms of how it's geared up. Yeah, Spirit Shield's the way to go. It's one of the easiest shields to get early, like, because, you know, again, you just look for like a plain Jane basic bitch Sacred Targe, or like any kind of shield, paladin shield that has 4 sockets and a high amount of res, and then you just put Tal, Full, or Am into it. Like, it's not difficult to set up. So anyway, I haven't played since I needed to actually put a CD into my computer. Oh wow, yeah, that is a while ago. Damn. What do you think is best class build for Elite and Champ pack farming on P1? It's a toss-up between... that's... Well, okay, it actually kind of depends on a few factors, right? Like, what do you mean when you say best? Like, best class build... like... Here, this is why I'm struggling to come up with a response, right? Like, there's a couple things you got to factor in. The first is, I know in your case you're looking specifically for Tyrael's Might, right? And that means that basically straight up you want a build that can quickly assassinate level 88 monsters or 87 monsters with as much MF as possible, right? And here are the things to consider, right? You can maximize like up to like 700 or 800 MF on like a Necro, while still maintaining killing power because most of your damage will come from corpse explosion anyway, right? But the trade-off here, for a lot of Necros, is that you lose out on a lot of MF. Or sorry, you lose out on a lot of FCR. So that's one thing to consider. Another thing to consider is you're talking players 1, right? Like, you're not talking about like Slashdiablo players 1. You're talking about like single player players 1. If so, then probably you're going to be looking at a barbarian of some kind. Probably either the Pit Singer or the Pit Zerker, especially the Pit Zerker. Right? Like, yeah, basically it's a toss-up between one of 3. Either it's going to be a Necro, it's going to be a Sorceress, or it's going to be a Barbarian. That's basically it. Like strictly speaking in terms of players 1, right? Like Druid, Hammerdin, or sorry, Druid or Paladin, they just don't have the... Oh, hey, look, a Yeats. Oh, that's pretty cool. They just don't have the right amount of, I guess, 37? Nope, garbage. They just don't have the speed of a Sork. They don't have the ability to stockpile, like, 500 plus MF and 1 minute clear speeds, like the Necro. And they don't have the find item ability, like the Barb. So, that's all important. Are Geeds not worth anything in trade? Yeah, no, honestly, not really. Usually if I find a Geeds, I'll just throw it out, or I'll basically give it away. I'm a little bit lazy today, so I'm not going to bother. I don't know why these guys are hitting so hard. But anyway, yeah. So, Geeds. It only really is worth anything either if it's a 40 MF Geeds or if it's like the first 2 days of ladder, or first 3 days of ladder. Anytime after that, like, the Geeds market is oversaturated. Like everyone has a Geeds. Like, people are just looking to hand out Geeds to people because, yeah, like, you don't really need it. I shouldn't say 40 only. Like, sometimes, I in the past have had success selling, like, 38 for Mal. In the first week of ladder, like, somebody really wanted a high Geeds, but they didn't want to, like... They didn't want to pay, like, a gull for a 40 or whatever. But, hey, Seth! Good to see you. What's up? Anyway, yeah, so a couple questions that I'm trying to juggle all at once. But yeah, so yeah, Geeds, mostly not worth anything, generally speaking. Now, with regards to the Necro, you're playing on Slash P1. Okay, so again, that's a different demon. Then in that case, then it's probably not going to be the Pit Zerker. I think part of why the Pit Zerker shines in Players 1 specifically when no drop isn't... Well, in P1 single player is because their no drop is actually something that's factored in, right? And champ packs are the best for that, but like if you're playing on Slash, then yeah, like you also want to kill the minion monsters, and that also takes time. So having said that, would you farm pits with that 700 MF Necro? That's a bit tough to say. I would say, to be honest, I would probably farm either pits or AT, because I feel like like, here's the thing. I haven't done, like, all of the research on it. I only really track the number of finds I get whenever I do these runs, right? This is why it's so difficult for me to come up with a response. Like, this really isn't my line of expertise, if I could even really call it that. Like, when I run pits, I feel like I get, like, 3 champ packs in a run in pits. And it really isn't that good compared to AT, in my opinion, where the AT is consistently smaller than pits while still having more champ packs. You want an area which has monsters that can drop Tyrael's Might, so probably I would even take Chaos Sanctuary out of the equation. Also, their monsters are really tanky. You want an area that's consistent, so probably not WSK. You want an area that has high mob density, sorry, an area that can drop Tyrael's Might, so Pindle's off the table here. And you want an area that has a lot of champ packs in a very small clumped up volume, right? And the reality is, like AT is really easy to get to. You teleport over 3 times, you waltz in, and then bam, there you go. You can start doing your AT run, and it usually takes 40 seconds, and you get 4 champ packs. You compare that to pits, where if you're lucky, pits will be maybe like 7 or 8 teleports away next to the entrance to Outer Cloister. You go in, and then even that is a bit of a crapshoot the way the map looks sometimes. And then you have to consider that the pit doesn't always spawn that many champ monsters. It might seem like it spawns a lot of champ monsters because you have level 1 and level 2. But you have to teleport all the way through pit level 1. And then you have to like all the way to pit level 2, and hopefully along the way you'll come across some champ monsters. And then in pit level 2, usually you'll come across 1 or 2 champ packs. But I feel like AT is just more consistent overall. That's my take on it. Like, if you're asking me, like if my sole goal were to go for Tyrael's Might, I probably would run a build of some kind into into Ancient Tunnels. Now the question is whether or not, like, which build I would use for that. Like, again, you got to consider not just how much MF you're packing on, but your clear speed. And I'm not talking about how quickly you're killing the monsters, but how quick you're getting through AT, right? Like, if you're killing the, like, let's say you're using a Poison Mancer and you're one-tapping them with Poison Nova, well, that's great, but it doesn't really mean anything if you're rocking a 0 FCR Necro, because it takes you forever to fucking teleport through that. You should be looking at how long it takes you to make it through an AT run, right? Like, I feel like clear speed's more important as you get. You know, if you already are packing like 400 plus MF, that's good enough, in my honest opinion, to just go through AT and just try your best to kill as many champ packs as you can. So, with all that in mind, actually, probably the build I would actually even I would use would have to be I'd actually probably just go Fishy Mancer, to tell you the truth. Like Slash, sorry, I shouldn't call it the Fishy Mancer, Corpse Explosion Mancer. Oh, what other gear you have? No, yeah, okay. So again, yeah. When Fatty's asking about this question, he's strictly looking at it from a fully geared perspective, because right now he's already fully geared on whatever character he wants to be. He has the wealth to make whatever he wants. I already know this. So it's not a question of what other gear you have. It's yeah, like he's asking me in the context of best of the best, really. Like, if you had absolutely everything you wanted, you know, pure MF gear, a Sork with, let's say, Death's Fathom, if you really want to go that route, right? And again, that's going to be faster than anything. So, you see, you think that a decked out Blizzork with Death's Fathom is fastest, but actually not necessarily true. Like, Frost Nova Sork can run AT in about, I think it's 40 seconds. That was my time with it when I used it from somebody else. Even my Poison Mancer can run it in about, I think it's in about 40 seconds. Blizzork is like, Blizzard itself is not that fast a killer. Like it does a shit ton of damage, but you can't spam it that much. or you can't, like, there's a delay between casts, and also sometimes the monsters get between your casts, so that can slow you down sometimes. Also, the other thing that I was trying to consider with this fully decked out Blizzsork, the thing is, a fully decked out Blizzsork usually doesn't have 200 FCR. I was hesitating because I was trying to figure out, like, if you'd be better off running AT with actually a 200 FCR Sork, because 200 FCR Sorks are absolutely insane. That's what I used to blitz through Chaos. That's probably my fastest clearer for seal glitching. I just don't think I'd really have a way to employ it for a 400 MF plus AT clear, especially when there's monsters in there that are immune outright to lightning. Whereas this isn't the case with poison, I think. I don't think, surprisingly, I don't think there's any. Well, actually, there are poison immunes in AT, but not that many. And then you just pop them off with lower res. Anyway. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm done with WSK2, right? Yeah. The same thoughts. Also, you must look at the gear character name Enigma Miracle. Okay, I can do that a little bit later. Hey, what's up, Seth? Again, you're switching to phone, or you were. Maybe it's worth a mal. No idea what that correlates to. Right. It's a list of runes, right? Like, or it's not a list of runes, but it's one rune in a list of many. Like you know, you've got. Lem is probably the first tradable, in quotes, rune as a currency. You have Lem, Pull, Mal, Ist, Gull, Vex, and then afterwards, from there, it's High Rune territory. Well, I mean, Vex upward is, technically speaking, High Rune territory already. Okay, well. You've watched plenty, you just don't know the currencies. Yeah, fair enough. Well, yeah, here on Slash, generally, like, leading all the way up to Gull, everything is worth half of the other. So, it's really hard to kind of, like, give you a currency that's worthwhile, but, or that means something. But, yeah, here on Slash, like a 30, I'd say 37 plus Geeds you could actually sell for about a mal. 40 Geeds usually has, it's kind of weird, like the most I've ever seen a 40 Geeds go for is an Ohm. In fact, I paid Ohm for my 40 Geeds this season, but a lot of the time people don't really value it that high. Like, I think I usually see people selling it for like Gull, yeah, like, yes, and that's basically that. I don't really know how else to try and quantify the currencies for you on the server. Like, item X for value Y? Okay. Okay, well, yeah. That's, then, yeah, I don't know how to, like, give you a value, because runes are essentially the value here. Like I mean, I guess the easiest way to explain this is runes is essentially our equivalent of dollars on this server, right? Like if I have, it's kind of like lems, ums, pulls are like dimes and nickels, whereas Vex upward is like a loonie, or like a $1 bill, I guess, right? Like, that's the easiest way I can put it, without really getting into all the technical details. No need to figure enough to play that. I know you explain it. Fair enough. Okay. And when should you expect materials to drop? Estimate 10 to 50 AT runs. That's tough. That's not an easy question to answer. Again, you're asking probably the wrong person for these kinds of drop probabilities. If I were to guess, here, let me. Here, give me a second, okay? I want to check something out. Didn't you already find materials, though, a while back? I thought you did. Actually, I think you found it on single player. Okay, so the drop calculator, or the German drop calculator, I'm just trying to pull up the numbers here. Target each day would be 500 to 1,000 AT runs per day on Slash. I mean, if you really wanted to no-life it, and you're cranking out 45, let's say 45-second runs, okay? Like 45-second runs, just for argument's sake. 45-second runs times 500 divided by 60. That's, you're basically putting in about a little over 6 hours, like not even including like piss breaks or like food breaks. You're putting in at least 6 hours a day, just on finding this, one item, and doing 500 runs. If you're trying to push that to 1,000, you're doing, again, you're basically putting in 12 plus hours. No, 1,000 AT runs a day is just, in my opinion, not very realistic. Yeah, no, but maybe 500. Like, if you really wanted to force 500 runs a day, you could do that. Yeah, I don't know if there's a specific target you should have. Honestly, like, if I were hunting for materials, I wouldn't really have a specific target of runs that I would be running each day. Like, I would just be playing the game. Like, I wouldn't ever really be gunning to run 1,000 in hopes that it drops, because, yeah, like, it just might never happen. Like, that's just kind of how the game works, you know? Like, you're re-rolling, or you're basically rolling the dice over and over and over again in hopes that you get it. And eventually, maybe it might drop, maybe it might not, right? I don't know if I would ever go out of my way to try and run a specific number of runs just to try and like satisfy a quota, if that makes sense. Like, it would just be luck. I don't think you can realistically expect to find materials in a 4-month ladder. See, yeah, honestly, yeah. Like, I 100% agree with that. Like, if it drops, then great. Like that's fantastic, but the reality is, it just might not drop. And, yeah, exactly. Like, Serials is, like, the toughest one, and this is, keep in mind, like, we're talking Slashdiablo, and even here where there's, like, you know, hundreds of people who grind out, on Players 1, or sorry, no drop 0 on Players 1, you maybe see 1 or 2 at the most Tyrael's Mites showing up, right? There are some very rare occasions where you get something like Enjoy, who got 2 Tyrael's Mites in the span of about 2 weeks, and he found nothing else. Like, he didn't find any good runes, he didn't find, like, a Death's Web or, like, a Griffin's, he found 2 Tyraels. Like, okay, great, fine, but, again, that is like a sign of like some pretty good luck or some pretty bad luck. Anyway, let me show you something, okay? I'm going to show you something really quickly because I want to put this in a perspective for you, Fatty. Fatty, you're still here, right? I want to actually go over some of the numbers with you, like, because if we're gonna here, drop calc. All right, check this out, okay? Check this out. So this is the German drop calculator, and you can see the odds of materials might dropping. This is, here, let me just double check this. This is, actually, why did I set it to Akmel the Cursed? What the fuck? Okay, hold on. Let me, just give me a sec to reset this to something a bit more proper. Let's say it's going to be a champion, or a boss monster, yeah. It's going to be a boss monster, Act 5, or sorry, Act 2. Let's say Act 1, Fallen Shaman, because they're all the same. Or let's just say Devilkin, there we go. Alright, pit level 1, alright, sort by chance. Okay, so this is what you're looking at, or what really we're going to be looking at. So this is unique monsters, okay? I wanna show this for you. Does it work? Let's take a look. Okay, good. As you can see, it takes 1 in a little over 1 million for like a unique monster, okay? A unique monster. Last ladder, I wasted luck on Bane Ash 2 times. Well, it'd be like that. I mean, this is, okay, the thing you always got to consider is, like, the rule of D2 is that what you're looking for will only drop when you're not looking for it. Right, so I'm not really surprised that you, in quotes, wasted luck on Bane Ash. The one item you're really trying to find is Tyrael's Mites, so it's not surprising that you find, like, literally everything else. I'm not sure those figures are right. I know that Mangsong from a boss in tunnels is 1 in 100,000. 110,000. I've been staring at that number in Llama Stream for over 2 years. Ah! Okay. So, I think I know what the discrepancy there is. Let me just take a look at something else, and then I can explain to you what the where that number comes from, if I am not mistaken. Just give me a sec. You said this is the odds from a boss in tunnels. Okay, so let's see if I can pull up a boss from tunnels. Hell, minion, no, unique. There you go. Okay, so unique item, and I think it was Mang Song's lesson, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Devilkin. 110,000. I don't really know where he's... Okay. Speaking of which, okay, so Mangsong's lesson here is 308,000. Even the drop calc says 308,000. Sorry, the drop calc, the Silaspin drop calculator says the same. I was gonna suggest that the reason why it's that number is because the drop calculator. There's like a different drop calculator called Silaspin that everyone uses, but that one's actually wrong. So I don't actually know exactly where he's getting 1 in 110,000 from. You know what? I think I know. Let me check one other thing. I'll bet I'll actually know where it is now. I just realized. I don't know why I didn't think of this first. Boss. Is it super unique? It's probably super unique, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. Okay. Pindle skin. That's where that number comes from. Let me just double check this. Special monster. Pindle skin. And sort by chance. Okay. So, Mangsong's lesson. Yep, okay, 1 in 155,000, right? Mangsong from a boss in Ancient Tunnels is 1 in 110,000? What the fuck? Oh, yeah. It could also be MF too. Like, from a pack, the leader of a pack, there are like 5 to 7 per tunnels. Okay, so we're talking unique monsters. Hey, by the way, Coaster. So, we're talking unique monsters. I guess probably that would do it. How much MF is Llama rocking? That's probably what it is. If it's 110,000, then I think Fatty might be right, because MF values will, well, sorry, the odds obviously will change based on whether or not you have MF. So if I set it to Act 1 Devilkin. Devilkin, by the way, it's the same odds as Monster from AT, so yeah, that much doesn't matter. And then I set the MF to, let's say, probably in Llama's case, he's gonna rock something like 600 MF. Like, I could even hit 500 on my... I hit 500 on my Blizzspark last season. There you go. 110,000, you said? 110,000. So yeah, if he rocks 650% MF, that should probably do it. Yeah, there you go. Here you go. This is how it's done. You need to rock. Okay, maybe it's the wrong window. It should be this one. Okay, there we go. If you rock 650 MF, right? If you rock 650 MF, then yeah, your odds will be something like in the 110,000 ballpark. Probably when he sets it to 110k, there's some... It could be somewhere between 100, maybe like 109,500 to like 111,000 or something, and then he just narrows it down to 110 for simplicity's sake. So it could be somewhere between 600 and 700 MF, somewhere in that range probably is how his build works. So yeah, that's probably why the numbers are set to be 1 in 110,000 if we're looking strictly at unique monsters, which, yes, like you said, his whole inventory is 7% MF charms. If you care. Alright, let's take a look. One sec. April 19 MF gear. Oh, no. I wouldn't really... I don't really care about what he's using. I only really care about what the final number is. He's using Pluggy, so I'm surprised that even though he showed all of his gear, he didn't actually write the exact MF. Unless it's written somewhere on the stream notes, not... Yeah, it actually doesn't say what the exact MF value is, and Pluggy has that feature, so I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, yeah. So let's go back to the, Oh, that's cool. That's awesome, Coaster. I'll talk to you more about that Elementalist in a couple moments. I'm just trying to calculate some odds with Hom 3 Watcher and Fatty here. Now, yeah, going back to it, yeah, the figures are right. The figures are right. It's just that I was using 0MF. That's the problem, alright? So let's go back to the original question. When should we expect Tyraels to drop? In an estimate of 10 to 50k AT runs. Alright. So, like we're using right here, let's say I used Llama's Blizzork at 1 in 381,000. Okay, and this is, keep in mind that player count doesn't affect unique monsters. So, you know, whether it's Slash or whether it's single player, this number is still always going to be the same, and it can only really be impacted by your Magic Find value. Alright, so if we're looking at just the unique monsters alone, let's suppose for a like this is again I'm not good with probabilities, but let's suppose there's 6 monsters, 6 champ monsters or unique monsters, sorry, per AT run. All right, like I think that even this number is pushing like the boundary, pushing the boundary in the sense that I think even that might be a bit of that might be a bit optimistic. It would be something like 1 in 63,000, just off of like if I were to divide 381,000 by 6, which I don't. Once again, I don't think that that's how it's supposed to be done, but yeah, like it would take, if you farmed only the unique monster, about 64,000 runs to get Tyrael's Might. I think something like that. So that's first. But of course, we got to factor in that that's not the only monster that you're killing. You're also going to, of course, be killing their minions too. And on No Drop 0, the closest I can get to that is players 8-8, right? So if I sort by chance here, I think that most of the champ monsters, or most of those uniques, come with like, come surrounded by like 6 or 7 champ monsters too, or minion monsters. So if we go take a look at the other one, the other the other odds that I calculated here, you have, for every minion that you kill, wait, what the fuck? I don't know why it's not showing up. Where's Tyrael's? I guess. Oh, my bad. I see what the problem here is. It's because I didn't actually set it properly to the right thingamajig. Okay. This is a pretty messy demonstration. I won't even call it demonstration. This is a pretty messy calculation, but yeah, this is kind of what's going down. Alright, actually it's a little bit better than I expected. 1 in 6 million. Okay, so you've got the champ monsters, or unique monsters, and then you have the minion monsters that are surrounding them, and the minion monsters that are surrounding them have about a 1 in 6 million chance, assuming you have 650 MF. So, again, if I were to add these up, let's see, what was 6 million? That'd be like a, let's just simplify it to like 1 in about a million. I think that's like, I don't know, man. The odds are just so slim. Like, here, 6 by 36. If I were to estimate this, I'd probably say you're looking at about 50,000 runs, but again, I don't want to. I feel like this math might be way off. That actually might be really, really off. Like, people on Slash are going to probably tell you, like, it's closer to, like, 10,000 or, like, 20,000 runs. I actually think you can expect to run a lot more than just 10,000 runs for Tyraels, to tell you the truth. Because looking at these numbers, right, like, you're not gunning for a D-Web Death's Web is like a third the rarity of Tyrael's Might even. Off of like minion monsters. Like, yeah, the odds are just so slim. 381,000. So every every unique monster you kill is like 1 in 380,000 chance. That's like, yeah, I don't know, man. That's probably, if you were to ask me for an estimate, I'd say somewhere between 35 to 50,000 runs. Like, if you just wanted me to try and run up a calculation off the top of my head. He does an AT in 70 seconds with reading chat and stuff, so likely a dedicated run could clear one in a minute or less. A minute isn't, like, here, you know what, let me show you something, okay? Let me show you something. Because this is, where am I at? WSK2, I'm still doing my run. Let me finish my run, and I'm going to try to show you something quickly. Okay, I've already gone that side. Let me finish this up. Okay, are you measuring the average time or the confident time? Like, on average, you might get one on 20k runs. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm mostly measuring the confidence time. Like, the odds, like, if you're going to be sure that you get Ethereals. Which, again, like the way probability works, it's like Home3 Watcher raised a really good point, right? Like there's different ways of calculating probability. I could try to calculate, I believe it's called, what, confidence intervals or whatever, where it's like, you know, you could be, let's say, 65% confident that your Tyraels will drop in, you know, 20,000 runs, right? Or you could be like 90% sure it's going to drop in like 100,000 runs, you know? Like, because there's a lot more, it's a lot more likely that something will drop if you run something a lot more times. But there's never any guarantee, right? Like, you could run like 1,000,000 AT and never find Ethereals. Like, you could spend the rest of your life until you're gray in hairs looking for a fucking Ethereals and just never find it. So yeah, like, probability is kind of finicky in that regard. Having said that, though, like if I wanted to at least be maybe like, if I wanted to give you like an expected minimum number of runs that you should expect before you find your item, like, I don't really know, like, I can't really give you a confidence interval, but I'd say like 40, somewhere between 30 to 50,000 runs at least is what we should be looking at. Right back, breakfast. Thank you for explaining. Yeah, no problem. 1 in 6 million. Oh, Hitler odds. Yeah, I mean, again, that's basically kind of where we're at, right? I'm like 10k level 85 area runs, and again, right? Like, just because you run 10,000 runs doesn't mean that your next 10,000 runs will be any luckier. But of course, I guess I'll have to explain that to Fatty when he comes back. All right, I'm gonna run 160 right now. Home3 Watcher, what I wanted to show you is, again, there's two things to factor in. Here. This is my Poison Necro. This is probably one of my fastest runners. And this is, here, let me use 75 FCR because I'm not running, I'm running AT, which doesn't really need as much FCR. So, we're talking about AT, right? We're talking about AT. And, wait, something's not right here. Yo, the hotkeys are all messed up for this character. Sorry, I need a sec. This is fucked. VD? What the fuck? When am I ever gonna use VD? F5, yeah. F2, F1, F4, F3 for attract. Yeah, F5, F7, F8. Where's F6? D for decrep. Necro Moonsir? I don't know what you mean by Moonsir, but yeah, like, here we are. We are with the Necro today. There you go. I don't know why my hotkeys got all fucked up, but yeah, I know you really enjoy the build. Alright, so this is me trying to run AT with a Poison Master. This is why I'm saying, like, I feel like even 70 seconds, 65 seconds isn't actually as, you can actually push a lot quicker than that. So we're just ignoring we're only going for champ packs. I don't even need to, if it's players 1, I don't even need to drop, poison, or sorry, lower res on them. I just need to drop, poison nova and nothing else. And I'm not even full clearing, so I don't even need to, like, okay, look at that, the run's done. Wait, no, it's not. Sorry, wait, there's this pack right here. So actually, I could even do the runs in like 35 seconds because I'm not doing a full clear for a change, right? Normally I'm doing full clear of 8C or full clear of that, and I was saying 45 seconds needed for that, but why are there no drops? It's because of the map hack filter, that's why. Anyway, so my point here, once again, I'm not doing this to show off. I'm trying to demonstrate that actually 70 seconds is actually not nearly as... 70 seconds is not nearly what we should be using as the time. A dedicated Poison Mancer run could take as little as probably 20 seconds even, 20 to 25 seconds, because all you're clearing is the champ packs, and all you need to do is teleport in Nova. Now, the only question is, how much MF are you going to be packing on? What's your FCR going to be? And also, here's the big one, which I think a lot of people don't factor in. Is Fatty using the HD resolution, or the HD mod for this game? Because it also has one, funny enough. The thing is, having the HD resolution is a huge, huge boost to your ability to farm. Maybe not huge boost, but it definitely speeds things up. It's the difference between me being able to run Chaos Sanctuary, like Seal Glitch Chaos Sanctuary, in a minimum of 38 seconds versus, I think, 32 seconds. That's like, or sorry, 33 seconds. So that's like what? That's like a 15% increase in speed. So here probably my run here. This is like a quick run, or this is my first run that I've done. I haven't gotten in like the groove. This run only took what? 30 seconds, and then you could even push that down to like 25 seconds, probably even faster to like 20 seconds with I think the HD mod or whatever. So it's like, it's crazy. Are you waiting to see what they drop? I'm confused. I didn't see anything fall, even rares or blues. Ah, yes, good question. So again, my map hack filters out a lot of garbage, right? Like, depending on how I set up my filter, the game will ping me on items that drop, right? Like in this case, they didn't drop anything useful here. I can just to kind of show you what actually happened. I can just turn off advanced item display, and you can see like there's, oh look, all these items on the ground, right? Yeah, it is. You can see this is why a lot of people play with loot filters. I don't know. I guess Llama hasn't gotten in on the loot filter trend, because even Dobrunsky at this point is using it, but you can kind of see like it filters out a lot of trash, and so more than that, like if like most people who play, like Dobrunsky uses the loot filter, but he doesn't actually use map hack. In this case, Fatty is using map hack. So if it drops, if Tyraels drops, he's gonna get a big notification from the game. It's gonna be an orange square, and then it's gonna say in orange text, unique sacred, or yeah, sacred armor or whatever, and then, well, he'll know to actually hop over and to go pick that up. Look at that. Oh, I just got pinged for a ethereal superior flail. Probably I could make a Hodo or a CTA in this or whatever, no big deal. So anyway, yeah, just some things I'm trying to demo to you. There's a lot of things you gotta, well, that I'm factoring in that I think you're not as familiar with when it comes to hunting down Tyraels in the context of Slash and in the context of Fatty 180. Okay. Yeah. Is Tyraels Might better than other high-level armor rune runes? No, absolutely not, Luciano. The reason why Tyraels Might is so revered is that it is the rarest item in the game. Sorry, let me rephrase that. It's the rarest unique Yeah, it's the rarest unique that can drop in the game. I think that's the better way of putting it. Because you could argue, like, oh, there's rarer items. Like, you can get, like, a crazy rare item with these properties. Like, tri-res boots that are all 40 res with, like, 25 MF, 30 FH... Or, sorry, 30 faster and walk 10 FHR or some shit like that. Or you could say, like, a magic scepter that has 3 holy shield, 3 concentrate... You know what? Yeah, you get the point. But... strictly in terms of uniques, this is the most... Jmod, I'm not sure Jmod is rare. I guess it is, but yeah, I don't remember the odds on Jmod versus Tyrael's Might, to tell you the truth. I guess it might be. Probably is, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But I am 100% sure that, yeah, like, theoretical tri-res boots, or like crazy amulets and rings that can drop, rare rings and whatnot, those are in a league of their own. So yeah, that's, watch Tyrael's first run. Oh, you know, this has happened before. Not Tyrael's, of course, on 3Watcher, but there's definitely been times where I demo my Poison Necro, or I demo my Nova Ball Sork, and then I run Chaos, and then, like, I think a Zod dropped. I think that's what happened. I was just running a demo. It was a crazy day. Like, there was one day I think I found, like... Anyway, look, I don't want to complicate the explanation. Basically, I ran Chaos and I found a Zod on non-ladder, and I was just like, all right, well, thank you for this. Like, it was fantastic. Zod first run, yeah, you did, but you usually call it anyway. So I don't know, man. But anyway, yeah, Fatty. I was just showing 3Watcher, and actually I can show you, theoretically, you could actually run AT in a lot less than 40 seconds, or 45 seconds, because I totally forgot to factor in that with these AT runs, well, one, I'm not using the HD resolution, but also two, I usually do full clears of AT, and that usually takes me about 45. But here I'm only targeting champ packs. Oh shit, I might actually die here. These, for some reason... Oh! Okay, hold on. Let me do this run again. I completely forgot that there are poison immunes here. That's all. I'm like, am I lagging? I actually thought this entire time I was lagging, but it's because I forgot to pop lower res. Let me just try this one more time. Yeah, okay. So start to finish, okay? Here you go. I see one champ pack, right? This time I will cast lower res. There you go. They're just fucking dead. 2 champ packs, 3 champ packs, 4 or 5 champ packs, I believe, and then I think this is the 6th champ pack. And then this run, where there were actually poison immunes, and again, where I'm rusty as hell, all hell with this build, took only 35 seconds, okay, to kill 6 champ packs. So actually, when I was calculating earlier 45 seconds, you could actually probably push it down closer to 30, possibly even 25 seconds. I'm rocking 75 FCR on this build, so there's definitely room for improvement on the FCR aspect and also the MF aspect. But of course, I decked out this build specifically to run Chaos. As you know, this is my Chaos Poison Mancer. So yeah, that's gonna be up for you to figure out. What do you think about AT Run's best class? Faster kill speed perspective? Oh yeah, honestly, if you ask me, the fastest build that you could use for running AT, like not factoring in MF or any other property, would have to be either a fully decked out, a Poison Mancer, or I want to actually say a Nova Sork of some kind, to tell you the truth. Or a Sork of some kind. I shouldn't even say a Nova Sork of some kind. Because the thing is, like, the Poison Mancer has damage, the Sork has speed, right? Like, the Sork, you could also argue, has damage in the form of Blizzard, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is you want something that kills things fast. Like, you want to be able to just teleport in there, cast something, and just leave. And not have to worry about whether or not the monster is going to walk into the Blizzard, or if if your blizzard will come back by the time you teleport to the next pack, right? This is another reason why I wouldn't recommend the like the druid, for example. Like, you could go windy, but I've shown in the past that it's just not as fast as the other builds, or it's just not as fast because it doesn't have the FCR and it lacks the damage on its hurricane. Yeah, so try Frost. Yeah, so no Frost Novasork. That's an interesting one for me. My issue with Frost Novasork, if you're going for AT, is like you can't really stack 600 MF on a Frost Novasork without sacrificing clear speed. Right? Like, you can do this with a Blizzsork. You can't really do it with a Frost Novasork. That's one of the things that gets me. Like even with this Poison Mancer, like if I subbed out all my charms and I replaced them with 7MF SCs, if I replace this with War Travs, you know, if I kitted out this character a little bit more for MF, I could probably run AT, I can hit at least 75 FCR, and I could still push 500 MF. But I don't believe that this is the case with the Frost Novasork. You wouldn't be able to hit like 2k or however much damage with the Frost Novasork while still maintaining like 500 MF. Because the base damage on Frost Nova just isn't that high. So yeah, again, Poison Mancer for AT would be probably my best bet if the sole goal once again were to just clear champ packs, like, and just trying to go for Tyrael's Might. I don't know if I would actually, like, a lot of people on Slash seem to prioritize killing even the minion monsters when they're trying to go for like TC 87 items. I don't know if you'd be better off rocking like a Pit Zerker, to be honest, even on Slash. That's something that I've always wondered, because looking at the odds from earlier that I was showing you, I'm a little bit skeptical from of what people say, because like Tyrael's Might, like, you get a much better chance to get a Tyrael's Might by killing the unique monsters, and then of course if you hork them, then it's like an additional 50%. Or let's say if you push that up to, let's say, 57% chance, then, well, again, right, like, you have a really, well, you're boosting your odds of dropping off the unique monsters, but you obviously lose a bit of group clear speed. So that's another thing. I don't know. It's like hard to say, right? Like, I haven't done the math behind it. If you really wanted to talk to somebody who knows the odds a lot better for this kind of thing, then maybe Muse would be a better bet, because he's good with numbers. He knows this stuff better than I do. Deadlock also knows those numbers better than I do, right? Like, I farm. I could probably tell you which builds would be fastest for clearing those areas when I don't have to factor in MF, like, when I'm not gunning for TC 87 specifically, but you kind of get the idea, Fatty. But yeah, anyway, that's a lot of stuff all at once. But yeah, I think that's my opinion and my answer to you. If I were to guesstimate, somewhere like 40,000 plus runs with with the 600 MF character, 600 plus MF character, and also if you're asking about which build would be fastest, I would probably say it would be a Necro of some kind that has 75 FCR. Although again, you also got to factor in that you have your connection isn't as good to the server as as mine, so I don't even know if you can run 75 FCR. Although I guess if you can't run 75 FCR, what you could do instead is you could lower your FCR down to something like 50. Sorry, the 48 FCR breakpoint, and then just max out MF instead. And then you'd still probably be able to do AT runs in about 30 seconds while maintaining 600 MF. So there are a number of options for you there. The Zerker Bar would be good. Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what I was talking about. They can teleport as quickly as a sword, not factoring in the stupid double telly issue that I run into from time to time, right? That would probably be a nightmare to mess around with for Fatty, but let's just for a second take that ping shit out of the equation, or the lag out of the equation. I also feel like Zerker Barb would be great, or great even, but I just don't really know if Find Item is better for hunting Tyrael's Might than having the big AoE of Poison Nova is. That's more or less what my argument here is, or my concern, I guess. I wouldn't even say argument. And that's why it's so difficult to answer this question. Hey, PB Gold. Also, and I'm glad that you brought this up. I'd also forgotten that there are magic immunes in AT too. So I don't even know if you could really run a Berserker in AT. You'd have to run it in. You probably have to run it in pits. And as I mentioned before, I don't really think that pits is better than AT for champ pack farming, or unique farming. Really am curious about minions on Slash. Well, yeah, get in touch with, I think, Deadlock or Muse. One of them would probably be able to help you. They're much more knowledgeable about those drop odds and statistics, and they basically revel in that kind of thing. That's their thing, for sure. Third last serials drop off minion by someone this ladder. Okay, yeah, well, that's awesome. But again, right, like are the materials dropping more frequently off the champ packs, so the unique or the minion monsters, or yeah, the minion monsters or the unique monsters? And then there's of course champ monsters too to consider, so that's another issue too. Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can't run Berserker in AT because of magic immunity. Well, you can, but you of course would have to ignore the magic immune or whack it with something other than Berserk, and that's not ideal. Which means that, again, you'd probably be running pits, as I was just explaining. I've gotten tutorials from WS Skellyfax. Damn, dude, that's pretty bonkers. Bash Barb for AT. I mean, that's probably a legit thing, to be honest. Anyway, sorry. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, that was a lot of stuff to be said. I mean, it's been fun just chatting and discussing hypothetical odds, but I don't really know that. Like, I'll just say it straight up. I don't know shit about this topic. Like I could theorize about it, but I can't really give like oh, well, you know, I'm an expert. I know the numbers. I really don't. So the best I can do is answer it the best I can, and that's my answer to you, fatty. Having said that, let me go back to see what some other stuff that was talked about was. Yeah, I think earlier, like this is from like an hour ago, but I was telling Hom 3 Watcher Hawes probably isn't, like, if your goal is to try and like max out DPS and tele speed, then yeah, I probably don't want Hawes unless you have like really specialized equipment. But yeah, 125 SR is the way to go. That was a while ago. Ticked off second last item on Slash a few days ago. Unique Caduceus. I don't know how it's said. That is Astrians, of course. Congratulations to you. Just buying Enigma online. Yeah, I still don't know if you're going to be playing single player or online, because yeah, if you're playing online, you could totally just, like, I'm not even kidding, like, just buy yourself an Enigma. I wouldn't normally advocate for this kind of thing, but like legit, it's like why not? Like BNet's kind of a joke right now anyway. So yeah. Otherwise, if you don't really care so much about, you know, trying to like make a fully decked out Hammerdin, you can run a Hammerdin, like a budget Hammerdin, using just like bare bones, and then you can run Trav. They're actually really good for that because council members have no magic resist, I think. So if you have a Hammerdin that has let's say a Dwarf Star and some Fire Res boots of some kind, and maybe like a Laying of Hands or some shit like that, just some things that gives you Fire Res, then you could totally just run Hell Trav, and that'll give you lots of good items with a Hammerdin. Max Block, of course. Gotta go to sleep. Finishing save on Saturday, finally taking a week off. I think Sunday. I don't know, man. Oh, that's so fucked. I didn't expect all that to last for so long. I talked to Alex, and he said, we're gonna be aiming for Sunday. Yeah, we're gonna be aiming for Sunday, but fuck, yeah, Sunday. That's what I'm gonna say. I probably will be taking Saturday, to just do, you know, other things though, yes. And then Sunday I'll be back. I don't even know. I'm hesitant to answer this because at this point I might as well just you know, just do my usual routine for Saturday then, and then just say fuck it, like to be, you know, postponed. Ah, whatever. I need to talk to Alex about that. You know, it's good. I think it has something special planned for Sat. Maybe I should. I don't know. I'll have to work that out. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, Home 3 Watcher. I'll see you another time. Probably Saturday, Sunday, whatever. Best class build for Elite and Champ Pack farming. Okay, so I answered that. Yeah, I can tell you what's not, like, from earlier, though. I can tell you which one's... Well, okay, no. I've already answered that. You farm pits? Nope, I wouldn't farm pits. Before I begin, think of item value in terms of PGEMs and SOJs. Yeah, that was a while ago. Alright. So... Yeah, so Seth was saying that he's probably going to be rocking a Druid. That is an interesting choice. Favorite classes are Necro and Druid, damn. Caster or Melee, most likely going Fire Druid until I get a back pelt. NATO pelt, oh, okay. Okay. I could go in Fire Druid. Fire or what, yeah. Probably. So you're gonna do Fissure Druid for which area though? That's the thing I'm most curious about. Zerker Barb could be good. Yeah, answered that. Anyway, yeah, have a good night, Hum 3 Watcher. PB Gold was asking, so I assume you're playing a reset? Actually, I'm probably not gonna be playing a reset. I don't really think I need to explain this, like, it's just not that interesting to me. Actually, I think I'm on run 161 now. Yeah, ladder reset's just not that interesting to me. Like, I've gone over all the reasons why. It's like, it's so fucking boring. Like the first couple hours is actually pretty chill, or is actually pretty cool, because it's just me, you know, trying to beat everybody else out for, you know, 2 hours, right? And usually I actually do pretty well, I would say, for somebody who usually plays just solo. But nowadays, I don't actually play... hold on a sec. I mighted pack. I don't actually play on BNet unless I have something specific that I want to try out. So that's what I'm gonna say. Like I'm not even kidding you. The last time I played on BNet, I think what I tried was rocking like a really janky druid, and my goal was just to try and make it to Hellbale and see how long that took. It took me about 7.5 hours, and the fact that I was when I made it to Hell, there was no one else who had games up, kind of suggested to me that, yeah, okay, I'm actually not doing terrible here. Like for somebody who's playing solo, I think I actually got ahead over most people. But like after that, I'm not really interested in the game, right? Like I don't know how to explain this. I guess the bottom line is I wouldn't play past, I'd say, day 1, maybe day 2 at the most, because I know that everything I get is just going to be devalued by all of the exploits that exist in the game. Basically, bots, dupes, and D2JSP. Those 3 things are the main catalyst for me not wanting to play, plain and simple. Like a lot of people are going to try and say, like, okay, well, yeah, actually, no. Plain and simple, like there is nothing like finding a jaw on day 1, or day 2, or day 3, and then finding out that somebody else just happened to find burrs that they, or like a couple of high runes that, or they just dupe their runes to the point where they could make themselves an infinity, you know, like after playing a season where that actually happened, I'm telling you right now, I'm really not interested in playing beyond anything past day 1. And the reality is, like, if I'm playing on day 1, then I have 2 options. Either I'm trying out a new build that I feel, or not even a new build, but I'm either trying out a build I would just want to have some fun with, or I'm trying to beat everybody else out. And the only way to beat somebody else out, or beat everybody else out, is by playing Sork, plain and simple. There's no other, like, I mean, assuming I'm playing solo, okay, like, not factoring in, like, oh, if I went and played with, like, a team. I don't really care much for that, to be honest, on BNet. Yeah, like, the only way that I'm really going to be beating people out on BNet is if I'm playing a Sork, is just the bottom line. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like I gotta play Sork. Like, I cannot reliably expect to be able to outrun Sorks, no matter how high leveled I get. Hey, there's a diadem. No matter how high level I get as any other character class. Like, I could be playing Hammerdin, I could be playing Druid, like, Fissure Druid is absolutely busted for players 8, all the way up to Act 4 Nightmare, like you were saying earlier. But it doesn't even fucking matter, because I get bottlenecked by, like, the weakest link, like, where a lot of my run gets slowed down is when I actually have to run through Nightmare difficulty and Hell difficulty, right? Because by that point, everyone who has teleport will just blitz through those areas, even if they're like a shitty Sork, like even if they're like a bad Sork player. Like, just the fact that they have teleport means that they'll just be able to outpace me. So I actually don't have a way to really compete with that, as anything other than a Sork. Right? And at the same time, I don't only want to play Sork. Like, I like playing Druid. I like playing Hammerdin, or I like to try out Hammerdin at the start of the ladder season because they can actually grind out player 7 pits even on day 1, right? Like, I could even play Trapsin. Trapsin's a lot of fun, but all of these just pale in comparison to a Sork. So, I mean, I hate to say it like that. I hate to be so pessimistic. I'm normally the kind of person who's like, all these are viable and blah blah blah, but that's kind of how I see it. I saved a soldier, they only gave me a Tal and a Ral. Maybe the Ort fell on the ground? I don't know. I mean, if your inventory is full, then it usually falls there. I don't think I've ever had an instance where it's like, oh, well, it just didn't show up. Are you using your map pack filter? Like, it might have gotten filtered out. I know that, in my case, I found out today that my map pack is filtering out Tals, Orts, Rals, and all that shite. And if not, then I have no idea. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Hey, what's up, user miss? Are you a NATO guy or an ODKB dude? I don't even know what ODKB is, so I guess NATO? Okay, sweet. Did I really not get a single meteor to come down here? Is this... Yeah, this is GS4. Boys, today is the first day I've thought of this. I have no clue where it's going to farm, but it's going to be lit, and I'm going to get at least one high rune where I farm. Okay, cool. Sounds good. I get it, okay. Alright, yeah. Yeah, and that's just the situation with that PP Gold. So... yeah, it's unfortunate, really, because to be honest, like I want to play on BNet Reset Night, or not just Reset Night, but I actually want to play, like play some like actual D2, where there's like a fresh ladder reset and everyone's going hard at it. But the reality is, like, all these problems, just I cannot ignore them as much as I want to. I can't just turn a blind eye to them anymore. Okay. Oh, okay, well, perfect timing. My Merc died just before I could get the Rejuve off. It wasn't. I haven't changed my config, though. Fair enough. So you said it wasn't, so it wasn't your config, then, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there. It could be any of the above. Not your config. Okay, cool. Anyway. Yeah, okay, so tell me about your Elementalist, Coaster. I saved the best for last, actually. So yeah, let's hear it. Your Elementalist, how's it going? What do you want to share, or what details do you want to share so far? Because I'm sure you've been theory crafting a lot of different stuff. I think A5 is bug. He gave out all his Orts already, yes. I'm sure that's exactly what's going on. Like he just ran out of Orts to give, Like, Orts are really important rune work. It's used in Spirit. Can't hate too much. Tal's used in Spirit too, but the difference is Countess in normal gives it out a lot too, right? So evidently So evidently there's less demand for towels. He's broke. My elementalist is half caster, half meleeer. Oh, okay. Uses fire, lightning, cold, poison, magic, and physical damage. That is sounding pretty cool. The last time I heard something like this was when I think I tried, or it was back in the whole days of the Whirlwind IK Barb, where they get like fire, cold, lightning, and magic damage. I don't remember if they have poison, but yeah, they also get a bit of physical on top of all those. That's the closest I recall to a build that uses so many elements. But yeah, all right, that's pretty cool. I think it's immune to everything. Yeah, no, it's true. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. Blizzard can come pretty damn close sometimes, though. Fucking hell. This is a pretty messy run. It doesn't do anything fancy. It's not amazing damage. It's just an attempt at doing something different. Oh, that's fine. Whether it's fancy or not, it's of course always nice to hear the if only I'd had some FCR. End goal is going to be chaos. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Alright, just teleporting back to make sure I didn't miss anything, although I should have just done this from the beginning. This was a really sloppy run. Struggling with the gear choice, hesitating between Enigma and Chains of Honor. Okay. What is the dilemma here between like the pros and cons for each? Like, usually I'm just like, okay, yeah, Enigma all the way, but I guess does it have survivability issues? Enigma for speed, but the 60 plus 65 res. Yeah, that'll do it. What is your inventory going to be filled with? Is it going to be resistances or an issue? Interesting. Do you have to have your inventory a specific way? Do you need like max damage small charms, or would it be possible to actually use res charms at all? Resistances are an issue. Peacombs, lifers, and 20 life and 5 all-res ideally. Okay, yeah, so basically that last bit's probably not going to happen. But yeah, the Peacomb lifer I could definitely see happening, though. Usually there's not as many people who try and fight over Peacomb lifers, I guess? Okay, maybe there are, actually. I guess it really... I don't know. Peacomb lifers are weird. Like, I noticed that there's usually either a lot of people fighting over it or no one fighting over it. I think Devastator finished his PvP, hammered in those, so maybe it might be a little bit less competition there. They're generally pretty cheap. Yeah, they are generally pretty cheap, but knowing your luck, it's going to be like, oh, this is the one season I'm playing like a build that actually needs poison, like, sorry, the Peacomb lifers, and then all of a sudden it's going to be like, oh, well, now everyone's looking for Peacomb lifers because now everyone's going fucking hammered in for some reason. So that's what I'm worried about. Decrepify is a great cast. Yeah. Seeing if I can implement it. Oh yeah, dude. Oh, for sure. You could have it on Switch, maybe? I mean, radical idea. I know you don't like rocking second characters. But, well, actually, what's on your Switch? What's on your Switch? Is it gonna be like are you gonna have CTA specifically? Because I know that one of the reasons why... Well, one of the reasons why I like running bow barb is so that I can, you know, throw a bow barb on my Nova Baller, or just a lot of my other characters, and that actually frees up their Switch, so it doesn't always have to be CTA, right? Like, for a Necro who doesn't really care about this, same with Druid. Because what else really am I gonna have on Switch? I guess I could have like FCR on a Druid, but anyway, like my point is, when I'm playing, when I'm playing as the Sork, freeing up that CTA slot allows me to get the spell steal through that. So maybe you might want to consider that. Thinking Hodo on Switch right now. Yeah, yeah. If you're going Elementalist Paladin, I imagine that you're probably going to have Vengeance. So your main weapon, if I were to guess, is probably going to be something like a Grief. As much as I hate to say it. No Vengeance. Interesting. For an Elementalist Paladin, there's no Vengeance, which is fine. I mean, I believe that the damage on Vengeance, from what I've seen, is usually quite low anyway. And make him a Vindicator. I mean, I'm not really one for names. I just when I hear the name, I think right away like, okay, what's a build that uses fire, cold, lightning damage? And immediately I think, okay, yeah, probably some variation of Vengeance, right? But if it's not Vengeance, then well, I guess it's just gonna have to be auras then of some kind. He's an Elementalist. He'll be basically a spellcaster and chance to cast Opportunist. Okay, so in that case then, what about Fist of Heavens? I don't know. That's hard to say, or it's honestly hard for me to really guess. It could really be, like, there's a lot of different ways you could go about doing it. So, Hodo on Switch. I don't know, like, what would you need a Hodo for? I mean, that's the lightning and magic part. So you're gonna have, okay. So you're gonna have Fist of Heavens. I guess probably then you're gonna have some Holy Bolt. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah, I could kind of see how this is going to work, just a little bit. If you're going to have fire and cold damage, then there's only really one option for that, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check this. Yes, the only options for fire and cold damage would, of course, be Holy Fire and Holy Freeze. So probably either you're getting them off of offensive auras, or you're going to be, like, wearing some kinds of items that give you auras for those items, I guess. I don't know. That's tough. There's a lot of different routes you can take. I'll surprise you by using really interesting equipment. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, shit. Like there's oh man, there's a number of different ways you could build your Elementalist Paladin. And yeah, sounds to me like indeed you're leaning towards Enigma for the sake of movement. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like with this assassin I'm using, I have Nages on Switch because I don't have Enigma. In your case, if you're gonna be having something on Switch, then you're not gonna have the option of using Nages as your substitute for as your teleport option. Although I know some people use like Charge and Vigor to get around with a Paladin. That's also an option. I don't know if you're the kind of person who can make do without teleport. I actually think you usually, like, you can. Like, I know that you've played your Pesty Sin without teleport, so again, I had to see about the resistances. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about resistances. Although, here's what I'm wondering, okay? What about, I mean, what amulet are you going to use? What amulet are you going to use? Because if it's a resistance issue, then maybe Mara's might do the thing, or might actually solve your problem. But of course, yeah, I don't know what you would prioritize over Mara's. Like, usually Mara's gives a good chunk of res, and then of course, oh, damn, that was a pretty big blast there. Alright, that's done out of the way, and I just realized that I'm rocking the wrong thing here. Ow, that was painful. Ah, I fucked up. Okay, hold on, I gotta back out. I'm being sloppy with these runs today. 7 fast run walk, 18 cold res. You know what, I'm just gonna junk it, fuck it, I don't have room for it. I'm thinking that I would use High Lords or Cat's Eye, but I might consider Mara's. Okay, I mean, yeah, again, that's just a thought that came to mind. Usually if resistances are my problem, then yeah, like Mara's is one way I would go. But again, I don't know if you're in the similar boat as this assassin, which rocks Angelic Amulet and Ring for the attack rating, or if you can make do without the attack rating. Or perhaps there's some other type of amulet that you would need. Yeah, I can't come up with any right now, though. I assume Hylar's or Cat's Eye for IAS, of course. Mara's unfortunately will not be giving you that. So the only way for me to get Decrep would be on an Act 5 merc. Oh yeah, that's an option too. But I figure that that's off the table just because I know you would probably, if you're using an Elementalist, you'd probably want to rock Infinity on your merc. Or I guess you might use Conviction, I don't know. Or you might yourself use Conviction on your own Paladin. So I don't know, man. Like, Elementalist doesn't tell me too much, which I think is the purpose here. So it gives me a number of things to guess. I'm leaning towards a Crescent Moon Act 2 merc. Wow, okay. Well, that's interesting. Might I ask why you want Crescent Moon on your Act 2 merc? Is it for static field? Okay. Yeah. That would do it. Fucking hell. There's so many of them. Oh, alright. Well, that was a good run. Alright. Maybe I'll stop cheaping out and just pop the full rejuve. Static field on Jabmerk is excellent. Yeah. That is... Wait a second. Crescent Moon Act 2 merc. Jab. Oh yeah, right. That's for... Yeah, it's been a while, so I'd forgotten that I think the Act 2 mercs actually have their own special attacks. The normal attack is a jab. Yeah. Right. Static field. Yeah, I could actually see that kind of working. Yeah, that'd do it. Just out of the meteor, damn it. I'm playing this build pretty sloppily today, too. Although I feel like I'm taking a bit more damage than I should be. I think that Mara's is probably going to be necessary until I figure out the resists. Yeah, I don't know what to say about your resists. Like, I'm not quite there, but I don't know exactly what you're going to be using. For me, anytime I have those issues with resistances, I usually just rely on charms to carry me. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, and I mean, you said you're a paladin too, so I don't know what shield you would use that. Well, I guess technically, Dream. If I were to guess, you'd probably be using Dream. Would you be using Dream? I actually don't know. The shield is atrocious. Okay, because this is what comes to mind, right? You're playing an Elementalist Paladin. As a Paladin, I feel like, generally speaking, they have, like, really good resistances because of their fucking stupid shield. And even if you use, like, a naked like, 45 all-res Sacred Targe to build whatever rune word you wanted to make, you're already boosting your res by, you know, that's already a pretty significant amount. Of course, you're going to be at -100 to start. You do the 3 Anya quests, so... one for each difficulty, so that puts you up to -70. And then let's assume maxed out res on the Hellfire Torch and the Annihilus. That's another 40. That puts you down to 30 or -30, sorry. And then you're trying to scrap together about well, you need basically to get to 100 all res, right? And a Sacred Targe would cover 45 of the 100. And then of course if you put a bunch of 7 MEF SCs on the bottom path here, or sorry, not 7MF SCs, 5 all-res SCs I meant to say, then maybe, like, I don't know if you care about MF on this character. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, I don't know. But yeah, that would be an additional 35, and then you put the Maras, that's like, what, 55, well, wait, so this bottom row would be 30 plus 20 on the, or 30 on Maras, that puts you to 60 plus, what was it, 40 more res. You need 40 more res, and that comes from the Targe, right? That would put you up to 75. That's what I would normally envision would happen, but obviously that's not the case here, so I'm not exactly sure what the problem there would be. The shield, though, I'm very surprised that you wouldn't have a shield that helps compensate for these resistances. So it's probably not going to be a rune word shield then. If it were Hawes, then you would not at all have this problem, because Hawes is like a one-man show when it comes to solving a res issue for most paladins. For the boots, I'm torn between Goblin Toes and Tri-Res. Okay, yeah, that's another thing too. Like yeah, I didn't even factor in like the option of like boosting boots, but yeah, I assume that maybe the boots might play some kind of important role on your character. Yeah, you said Goblin Toes. What about Gore Riders? Like, why would you take Goblin Toes over Gore Riders? In my case, I usually rock Gore Riders just because Goblin Toes, because even though I lose out on the FRW, I get to hit 100 CB, but I don't know if that's something that you care about as much. What was my gear set for Frost Novasork? Well, let me tell you right now, I don't myself have my own Frost Novasork. The Frost Novasork that I was talking about from a while back was actually, I think it was, shit, who was it? Kerm? Yeah, I think it was Kerm. Kerm's the guy who has the Frost Novasork, and I don't know exactly everything he had, but I can give you the general gist of it. From what I recall. I mean, it's not too difficult to set up a Frost Novasork, from my understanding. What you would need is a... Well, I mean, of course you need to tweak it, because again, like, this setup that I'm going to tell you wasn't optimized for MF, it was just optimized for raw damage. Oh, interesting, Bale can heal me with that lightning, but anyway. You would use Death's Fathom. I believe Spirit Shield. Your armor would be a Frost Nova Ormus that has plus 15 to cold damage, Nightwing's Veil, Arachnid Sash. I believe it's Mage Fists. Your 2 rings would be SOJs, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm just trying to recall. I think that's 55, 75, 95. I don't even know if you need Mage Fists, actually. I think maybe he even went Frostburns, so that he gets more mana. While his amulet is like a 2 Sork 10 FCR or some shit like that. Yeah, and then his boots. His boots probably were something like War Traps. That's basically it. And then of course his inventory was just a bunch of Cold Skiller GCs, with like maybe a Geeds, and of course the standard Annihilus, Hellfire Torch, and so on. So Deadly Strike does not really matter on low physical damage input. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I figure that you might want it for faster run walk, actually. The higher faster run walk, and also the open wounds, which is a little bit of extra damage. But again, I don't know if you care about that. But anyway, yeah, Fatty. That's basically the build. I don't have an armory link for you, sadly. I don't have like a character I can show you. But oh wow, you just healed me up to full. Yeah, that's basically it. Like, from there, it's like, how you decide to tweak your character is going to be kind of up to you. I don't really have any good options. Like, you could try to, like, sub out your entire inventory for 7MF SCs. Like, let's say 8x4x7, that's like, what? 238 MF, plus Travs, it's 288. You could probably sub out your gloves instead of Frostburns. You could use Chanseys. That puts you up to like 320 or something. I don't know. And then your rings, you could probably go and throw on like Nagels. You could probably hit 400 MF like that. That's a possibility. There's a lot of ways you could like try to tailor your build for what it is you plan to do, but again, you do lose out on a bit of damage with as you increase your MF with a Frost Novasork, right? The other thing too is I didn't talk about what weapon he had on Switch. This is what I forgot to say. The thing is, on Switch he was actually using, I think it was a memory, the memory rune word, so that he could pre-buff Energy Shield, and then he would get a CTA buff from his bow barb. So that's how I think Kerm set up his Frost Novasork. But again, if your sole goal is AT, you can't quite follow that route. That's why I think I didn't mention that right away. Because you need to... If you're going strictly for AT, then you're going to need to figure out a way to get your Frost Nova to either one shot or two shot while maintaining a decent time to kill, right? Like, you need to maintain good MF and decent time to kill, so that's something that's difficult to juggle. You know what I could do for fun? While you guys are all here? Seth, are you still around? Seth, are you here at all? I could actually try to set up a Frost Novasork for you right now. I don't have one handy, but I could try to make one, just for shits and giggles. Oh, you're here. Because I remember a long time ago, I remember something that Seth said was he's always wanted to see my process when it comes to theory crafting for builds. So what I can do for you guys today is I could actually show you guys how I usually go about trying to like make these characters or try to like come up with them, right? Just a little taste, although I guess it's not really all that crazy. There's not really that much to show. I would just go on a hero editor and show you. Really? Yeah. Yeah, if you're excited for it, I can show you. If you just give me a little bit. Let me just make sure that this run is done. And then, yeah, I'm probably not going to make it to 200 runs today. I'm probably going to make it to like 180. Probably 25 runs is about as far as I'm going to get. As much as I hate to say it. At this rate, I'm never going to fucking finish these runs, but... 166 next. Alright, guys. Okay, Fatty, let me actually show you how this is going to work, okay? So this is how I do it. This is more or less how I try to do my good old theory crafting and so on. Alright, one sec. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So this is how I would start it off, okay? This is usually where I begin. First things first. So, Fatty, you're still around? Just want to double check this. First thing, of course, is we're going to be making a Frost Novasork, alright? So, Frost Novasork, obviously, let's give it a really important name. So, I got to actually make the character before I start tinkering with her in Hero Editor. Now, once I have that character created, I can go to the Hero Editor and I can actually play around with her. Now, if I can just pull up Hero Editor now. Okay, there we go. Okay, so screen capture, window capture, Hero Editor. Alright, there you go, there she is. So this is the Hero Editor. You can synergize CTCs with skills that do not belong to your class. Yes. Chance to cast with skills do not belong to your class. You mean like Sork Fire Mastery or something with like, I don't know, fire or chance to proc Fireball or some shit like that. I don't know. Anyway, so now let's say you have a Bone Spirit chance to cast. Okay. Sorceress Diablo 2. So the next thing I would do in this case is I would actually, I'd Google Sorceress Diablo 2, and then here's the thing. I have to look at. Well, first of all, let's assume that this character is going to be level 91. I usually like level 91 because this is 90 level ups. It's a nice, clean, round number. It's really easy to do calculations with 90, especially considering that for a Sork, every level up is a +1 life. So in this case, 90 plus 40, that's 130. Then you've got +2 mana per level. So that's going to be 180 plus 34, 214. And then stamina, I frankly don't usually care about this, so I just max it out, like whatever, right? Max out gold, max out like gold in person and on stash. And here's the other thing too. When you do all of the Golden Bird quests, you actually get a total of +60 life, so actually I'd be closer to 190. This is the base stats. Stat points is just level times, well, it's just the number of times you've leveled up times 5, so 450. Of course, you could factor in the Lamis and Stone, but I usually don't. Alright, so then the next thing, of course, we need to do, we need to allocate all waypoints. We need to allocate 102 skill points because, again, 90 plus 12 stat point level ups. And then, of course, you gotta batch long finished all modes. So if she's finished every quest in the game, is more or less what that says. Alright, now this is where things get a bit interesting because now I need to figure out how I want to build this character, right? So here's the reality of the situation. Actually, I can actually tab back into the game, and then I can show you guys this directly. I'm just gonna sit. Well, once I save it, then I think I can go back here, right? You can see that Frost Nova Sork at level 1. Now she's up to level 91. Here, 1 point into so. I'm going to start leveling her now, dumping some skill points or whatever. 1 point into Warmth, obviously. It's a Frost Nova Sork, so 1 point into Frozen Armor, so I'm just going to max out. You can see Blizzard and Frozen Orb are the synergies, so of course I'm going to max that out. Normally I would just do this on Hero Editor, but you guys can kind of see the process this way. I don't know why it's not registering properly on Blizzard. I'm just showing you guys the process of kind of how I go about doing this kind of thing. Maxed out. Of course, I got to put at least 1 point into Teleport, and then of course I got to start putting points into Cold Mastery. I'm not going to dump any more points just yet because I'm going to be getting a ton of plus to skills from my equipment, and plain and simple, anything beyond 200% Cold Mastery is completely redundant. Well, actually, even 195 is completely redundant, but yeah. So, yeah, I just save up the remaining skill choices. Honestly, with the remaining skill choices, you could even, like, if you really wanted to, you could just dump it into Energy Shield and then put the rest into, like, Telekinesis or some shit. I don't know. But again, I don't really care much for this. Is there a max MF you can get on a character? I think it's like 1,167. You can accomplish this with a Barb using two double 6-isted swords of some kind, or 6 open socket swords. I believe an isted Scalders, I think, is the highest MF you can get in an armor. You can get an Artisan's Tiara of Luck, so 3 open socket with like plus MF Tiara. You can get again, like a 50 MF amulet, and then you can get 40 MF rings. I think it's Gold Wrap that has 30 MF, 50 MF Travs, Chanseys with 40 MF, and then the rest of your inventory is Geeds and 7 MF Small Charms. And then, of course, no Torch and no Annihilus in this build. Does D2 like Berserk? What do you mean by does D2 like Berserk? Like, are you asking like does Diablo 2 like Berserk, or are you talking about like do I like D2 like Berserk as a skill? But anyway, yeah, so this is what the character is looking like so far. This is mostly for Seth, because I know he was kind of curious as to how this works. So at this point now, I have to start, well, I have to reload so that we can actually see the stat points that got allocated. And then, of course, we got to start filling up the item slots with random items. So plain and simple, this is going to be a Death's Fathom, this is going to be Spirit Shield, and this is going to be Ormus with Frost Nova. Oh, me, Berserk the manga? Actually, I've never read Berserk before. I've heard a lot about it. I hear it's a really good series, but I myself have never actually messed around with it. Berserk is amazing? Oh yeah, I believe that. Actually, I'll just wait here for a second while I do my customization. Okay, so I need to get to adjust. You guys are gonna have to give me a little bit of time to adjust these stats here. I should be setting this to Frost Nova. Death's Fathom, of course. I also should probably get a Sork Torch here too. That'd probably be good. Sork Torch and Annihilus. Charms, Annihilus, and then of course Geeds. Then Spirit Shield. Just need a bit of time here. Spirit Shield, Spirit Monarch. And then Death's Fathom. Okay, so this is what the Sork looks like now. Death's Fathom. Such lovely names for your characters. Actually, I deliberately put it like that, so that you guys don't know. Well, that's not true. This, yeah, they are some pretty interesting. To be honest, sometimes I divvy up the names in case I ever need to do a demo in single player, which doesn't usually happen, but if in case I ever need to do a demo in single player and I don't want to give away like what the idea behind the character is, then I will I'll basically just obfuscate the name. Sometimes I'm just lazy. In the case of GJFJD, this was just laziness. This was laziness. This, I think, was me trying to hide what it was. I don't even remember what this character is anymore. I have to go take a look. But yeah. Yeah, intentionally, or half-intentionally have names like this. Hey, BMFN Demo, welcome to the channel. What are the main changes for Slashdiablo? The core gameplay is mostly the same. Like, the characters have not been nerfed or buffed in any way. But we have access to map hack and multi-boxing, so we can have multiple windows of the game open at once, and we can see the entire map, which makes it a lot more convenient to try and find places or find monsters and to farm more quickly. We have something called No Drop Zero across all player settings, so we're basically playing with better than players' 8 drop rates on the server. And I think they changed the way declone spawns. You know, on BNet, it costs like 80 SOJs on ladder to spawn a declone. Yeah, here you don't have that. Here you only need, I think it's, well, you need 1 Gull Rune, and you only get a local spawn. The other thing, too, is they enabled the Plague Rune Word by, well, because they wanted to try and switch things up a little bit. So, yeah, those are the main changes. Mostly the rest of it remains the same, like if you're just talking strictly in terms of gameplay. However, I want to show you something quickly. There are some really cool quality of life things that you get on the server. Not just quality of life, but just things that the original server should have. Like, this is a global chat channel. You can do things like this, right? You can see, with the map hack anyway, you can see your stats of your character. And really, that's about it. That's as easily as I can sum up the changes for you in about 2-3 minutes. There's nothing really much to it. It's not like Path of Diablo or Resurgence, which try to like overhaul rune words or add uniques and that kind of shite. This is just plain Jane, basic Diablo 2, and really the only changes they made were to the drop rates and to the way declone is spawned and played rune word. And, well, I guess you can use map pack and multi-boxing, which again, that's for some people that's too many changes, which is fair. But for me personally, like I enjoy playing the original game, like vanilla Diablo 2 with people, or as close to vanilla as I can get, and this is basically it. So let me know if you have other questions about that. But otherwise, I'm going to go back to making this Frost Nova Sork that I was trying to share with other people. Thank you very much. I actually placed first. Oh, okay, on Necro Ladder on POD. I played a lot. I've never seen this mod. So more on that in a second. Anyway, sorry about that. Congratulations on placing first on the Necro Ladder. Now, yeah, I can see why a lot of people play Path of Diablo. There's a lot of things that they added that make it really fun for a lot of people. I'm not personally the biggest fan of Path of Diablo, that's just me personally. But that doesn't really stop me from recommending Path of Diablo to other people who are probably a bit more lenient with some of the things that Path of Diablo has changed about the game. Having said that, though, yeah, the thing about Slashdiablo is it's not actually a modded version of the game. That's the main reason why I enjoy playing on it the most. Like it's a private server, or it's played on a private server, but you know the core game with regards to like the skill balance, the rune words and so on, none of that has changed. It's all the same. Well, Love D2, which is the main thing. Yeah, which I absolutely agree. That is the main takeaway for sure. But yeah, I think a lot of people turn a blind eye to Slashdiablo because it's like, oh, it's a modded version of the game just like any other ones. But actually, it's really the close, like you could argue that, yeah, like changing the way declone spawns is a mod, like is modding the game, but really there's no way you could realistically expect to have 80 SOJs to spawn declone be a thing from vanilla D2 on BNet, right? Like, and map hack and multi-boxing aren't direct mods to the game itself, so I don't know. But yeah, having said that though, if you are interested in giving it a try, I will give you a link quickly. You can check out the Slash subreddit for yourself if you want. Yeah, perhaps the Slash subreddit might be able to answer some of your questions. If you are interested in actually giving something else a try, aka the original Diablo 2. But yeah, depends on if you're bored with Path of Diablo or what, but if I were to take a guess, probably not. So, anyway. Alright, let's go back to Fatty. Oh, wait, are there any paywalls? No. Oh, you mean like paywalls as in like, oh, do you have to pay to like play on the server? And the answer to that is no. And yeah, again, this isn't like, yeah, this is like, there's private servers out there that allow you to literally buy items. This private server is not like that. Like, you can, you know, pay to help keep the servers afloat, but you're not going to get like a big pay to win advantage because of it. Right? Like, you're not going to get, yeah, the only real paywall, I guess, if you could even really call it that, is you need a CD key to install the game and then to configure it, like that version of the game, over into Slashdiablo's private servers. But otherwise, it's not. There's no paywalls that prevent you from playing. Like, let's say you can't. It's not going to be the case where if you don't pay, you can't play Druid or something stupid like that. It's just like playing on BNet, but without the bots, the dupes, and the bullshit. Again, like, some people don't like that you have access to like map hack and whatnot, but yeah, like, if all you care about is like trying out vanilla D2 from, in the sense that, like, you know, your skills are gonna behave the same way they did in the original game, then yeah, that's what they have here. Aha. Yes. So there is a definitive advantage at being slash premium over regular players. They got that small charm thing. Okay, so yes, the small charm that they get though is 3 faster unlock, 20 life, and 7 MF. And I think this was done because, in Minsky's words, there were a lot of people who were complaining that the slash premium charm doesn't actually offer any like gameplay benefits over a real small charm, right? I think that 3 faster unlock, 20 life, and 7 MF is nowhere near as broken as some people would make it out to be. Like that's essentially just the, like, would you really rather have one of those, or would you rather have a 7MF 5 all res small charm, right? Like okay, I guess you're paying for one of these small charms. It gives you those 3 bonuses, but really, compared to what I would consider like a real pay to win advantage, that's fucking nothing. Like that's actually fucking nothing. Like, yeah. Anyway. Could you potentially have many of the premium small charms? No, I don't believe they're supposed to be tradable. Like they'll give it to you after 6 months, and then you get to rock it, but, you know, I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to trade it. I don't know because I don't pay for slash premium, and more importantly, like, they will know if you share it. Yeah, well, probably that this is the case. Again, I don't own the charm. I've never really thought about trying to like hand it out to other people because I've never had it and I wouldn't ever want to. But yeah. The original question is, are there any paywalls? And the answer is no. If Coaster wants to make the argument that somehow this small charm is a pay-to-win advantage, then that's its own discussion. But I would honestly struggle to make a serious argument for that, like to say it simply. Okay, no, you're not gonna have 40 of those small charms. It would be pretty OP, but you're really only supposed to have one per person. Like that's not supposed to be this thing that you go around in trade chat and like say to people, hey, yeah, guys, I'm gonna trade it. I'm gonna trade this 7MF, like this slash premium small charm out for like high runes. Like that's definitely not something you're supposed to be doing. We only give it after 6 months of premium sub. Yeah, exactly too, right? Like you can't just. I mean, I guess theoretically or hypothetically, you could like make 38 different accounts and then you could try to like sub on each one. I guess if you want 38 or 40 of those charms, but really, are you going to really be doing this? Probably not. One charm realistically, maybe 2 if you want to go that route. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Anyway, so that's, again, if you have other questions about Slash, I'd be more than happy to help. But yeah, I think that really answers it for your paywall question, though. Like, again, there's nothing that, if you, like, I've played for the last 4 years on the server, and I haven't spent a dime on it, right? And it's not like I've been barred off from accessing any content, or I feel like I'm an inherent disadvantage because I'm not paying money, right? The slash premium charm was really the only catch, but even that is like a bit of a stretch, I would argue. But again, that's its own discussion. Now, Luciano's question: what would you like to ask Diablo's creators? I would like to ask why it's so difficult for them to catch botters, or why they are so reluctant to do anything about the botting problem. That would be my #1 question. Yeah. Anyway, so going back to the Sork, let's show what we're at now. So this is what our Sork looks like. Okay, we have these items, right? Death's Fathom, Ormus Robes, and Spirit Monarch. Now, what else are we going to start throwing on this character? Well, we need a goal, right? Like what kind of character are we gonna make? I mean, my goal for this character would be to try and hit 500 MF, 500 MF on this character with these core pieces of equipment, and also 105 FCR probably. So probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably fill most of this inventory with 7MF small charms. Factoring in that this build is catered towards Fatty. Fatty, you're still here, right? This build is catered towards Fatty. If I were using this build, I would have a Tome of TP here, a Tome of ID here. I'd fill up the rest of this with a bunch of 7MF small charms, but I'm min-maxing this for Fatty, who, the way he sets up his character is he fills up every slot in his inventory with a 7MF small charm. Or he uses up every slot in his inventory because if an item like a Tyrael's drops, he would run over, he'd pick it up, and then he would leave the game with the inventory open. No cube. Because again, Fatty here is only cares about one item, and that is the Tyrael's Might, right? So again, this is anytime I have to theory craft for somebody, I have to actually figure out what I have to take this into consideration. What limitations do they have, right? Like, and let me just finish up here. Oh damn, that is laggy. I don't know why. Huh. No cube, big brain strat. It is. Yeah, it's pretty nice, but what the fuck? Okay, well, hero editors. Oh, there you go. It's a little bit screwy, but there you go. Okay, so this is what the inventory would look like for Fatty, or something like this, right? Like leaving one spot and having a cube. Yeah, no, that's fine. But yeah, if I were making a build for you, I would try to factor that in too. Maybe you wouldn't even run a Tome of TP or Tome of ID, especially in Fatty's case. He's running AT, so he doesn't need either of these things anyway. In my case, all of my builds, Tome of TP here, Tome of ID here. Rest will be whatever I feel like, and of course, maybe I'll have a Geeds, and for sure I'd have Hellfire Torch and Nihilist because I need the damage from those. All right. So this is my starting point for this character. 8 by 4, that's 32, plus 2, that's 34, times 7, that's actually about, 32 times 7, that's like, what, 224, I think, MF by itself, plus this, that's 200, or that's plus 40, so that's like 264 just off of the inventory alone. So now I'm going to probably add War Travs, right? War Travs and Chanseys. So give me a second. Do you make these charms, or did I download an item pack? They came with Kingpin's item pack. That's why if you look, you'll notice that it said 5 all res, 7 MF. Again, I would normally assume plain Jane 7 MF small charms here, but just again, usually I like to start off with the I believe it's called a proof of concept, like once anyway, the item pack came with only 7MF and 5 all-res small charms. It didn't come with plain Jane 7MF small charms. And honestly, if this build can't even work with the 5 all-res small charms, then it definitely won't work without them, right? So I'm not really too concerned about the fact that I have that extra 5 all-res on them, personally. Like, I'm really not. Black screen brawl. I know. I add items and then I show it as I add them, bit by bit. Oh, that's a really good question. 220 FCR MF amulet or Big Blue MF amulet? Okay, great question. Now, in this case, I would go 220 because you're getting FCR and you're also getting plus damage to your Frost Nova because you need that. Like, yeah, you could argue that, yeah, you could throw on the 50 MF amulet, that's really nice, but the reality is, well, first of all, you're not going to get a 50 MF amulet on Slash, and second, you're really trading out way too much for it. So as you can see here, I added War Travs, I added Chanseys. So now, let me just tally this up quickly. We're at 20 FCR, we're at 55 FCR, we are at 75 FCR, and then now we need probably a Nightwings here, actually, for some damage. And then we need just 10 FCR. That's going to come from Amulet. And then these two can be plain old Nagel rings or something, and this can be an Arachnid Sash. And that's basically that. And yes, that's also a good point. I had almost forgotten I need to also throw on some cold facets. So let me just do this bit by bit so you guys can see. Nightwing's Veil. Again, just adding it bit by bit. Nightwing's Veil. Okay, cool. And Arachnid Sash. So you guys can see, like, I'll show you guys in a second. Arachnid Sash. Okay, cool. So this is what it looks like now, right? Nightwing's Veil, Arachnid Sash, and then finally we are at, we're just down, I think, 10 MF. Let me just double check that. Or not 10 MF, sorry, 10 FCR. So 35, 55, 75, 95, and then, yeah, we just need that amulet, and then 2 Nagel rings. Honestly, here's the other thing, too. Nagel rings isn't the best case scenario. Nagel is just, honestly, just like a placeholder. Your best bet would actually be to use a... would actually be to use a 40 MF ring, but those are pretty hard to come by. Even like a 30, like a greater than 30 MF ring is pretty hard to come by, because not many people on the server pick up rings to ID them, right? Otherwise you could get like a 35 MF ring, even wouldn't be too bad, and it would be better than Nagel, but that's just not going to happen. Anyway, let's see, speed, FCR, 10 FCR, so I like to make a custom Maras just for this. So I basically, like, in order to make this crafted caster amulet, this imaginary crafted caster amulet, the easiest way for me to do it is usually I just throw on a Maras, and then I just add a variable amount of faster cast rate. In this case, 10 is enough to hit 105, so this is good enough. And then I'm going to put 2 Nagels here, and then we can see what the final build looks like, and then we can tweak it accordingly, okay? So let's take a moment to do that. Jewelry. And then it's going to be Nagel times 2. Alright. Boom. Done. And the build is done. Alright, so now we just need to get over to the Frost... Okay, so I have to save it. Once I save it, I can switch back over to my other window right here. And I'm going to show you guys what the character looks like. Alright, so as you can see, I need to dump a shit ton of points into strength. Keep in mind, there's always going to be plenty of ways to tweak this build the way we want it to reach. Like, if I really wanted to hit a specific FCR or MF breakpoint, I could sub out the Spirit for a 4-isted Spirit Monarch. I could sub this out for Scalders. Right, there's a couple of good options there. And yeah. Oh, that's also a really good idea too. You could also get like a crafted amulet that has FCR and MF. That's also really good, of course. But yeah, this is kind of our starting point for this character, right? And now we can tweak it as we see fit. As I mentioned earlier, our main killing ability is going to be Frost Nova, and then of course F1 for Frost or Frozen Orb. Yep, this is kind of what our character looks like right now. Wait, what the fuck? F5, F6. Oh, I see the problem here. Probably again the controls are a little bit messed up. F5E. This one can be F6. Okay. And no insight or good luck on mana. Ah, I'm glad you noticed. I actually intentionally chose not to put the Merc, just to kind of see how this build can perform without it. And look at that, there's a very beautiful map. It's right next to the freaking thing. Yeah, it doesn't really pack enough damage. That's the first thing we can see right away when we set it up like this. We hit the 105 FCR breakpoint, but it doesn't really mean anything if you can't just drop them in a single go. Actually, this could be part of the reason why. Maybe it might be worth investing more points into this, but anyway, probably gonna. How many points are in Cold Mastery? 10, but it doesn't really matter. Like most of those mobs I'm going up against in AT, they have a maximum of like I think pretty much all of them have 0 cold res. So I don't even think I need to go beyond level 17 even in total. But if I really wanted to, I could just max this out. You know, just for amusement's sake, let's actually max this out. Why not? Sure, boom, done. Minus 185, and then maybe the rest I'll just throw into warmth. It doesn't really matter. I don't all that much, I think. Also, I don't run out of mana as quickly as I thought. Probably because I have enough pretty decent amount of points into warmth. Yeah, this is still a problem though. At the end of the day, I still need CTA. So that's the other thing also I left out. You saw that I added all of the core equipment, but I didn't actually add the I didn't add an Insight Merc, and I didn't add CTA. So now let's add those things, and let's see how much, if it can perform any better. But the reality is here, we have 400 MF, but we don't have enough killing power. Ideally, we would want to be able to like Frost Nova and insta-kill them, or to 2 Frost Novas at the most. No less, no more, or no more, no less. Well, less is good, actually. No more than that. Anyway, let's see. What was your other question from BMFN here? I think you may be able to get 10 CC'd caster belt with MR if you don't get the 500. That's, yeah, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Of course, you had to trade out +1 to all skills off of Arax, but yeah, actually, yeah, I think that probably 10 FCR with MF would probably be better. If something has cold immunity, can you break the immunity with mastery? No, you cannot. The only way to break an immunity is through lower res. Well, a cold immunity, I should say, is with lower res or infinity. Although keep in mind that, and then after it's broken, then cold mastery takes full effect. However, it's worth keeping in mind that most monsters who are cold immune are extra immune or extra resistant to cold. So it's even with infinity and lower res, you might not be able to purge off their resistance or their immunity to cold. Alright, so BMFN was asking, what are my thoughts on snapshotting the MF on Switch with Blizzard main for bosses? Okay, if you're talking about this character specifically, I don't really care about that specific instance of this character. I'm only really trying to tailor this character for farming ancient tunnels champ packs, and that's it. That is the sole motivation behind this character, and that's basically it. All right, so going back to the drawing board again, I need to have CTA on Switch. And probably I'm gonna be hopping off a bit earlier than usual today, but anyway, rune words, good rune words. Roger that. Yeah, But your other suggestion with the caster belt's a really good one, though. That is something to consider. Okay, so as you guys can see here, we now have Call to Arms, and we also have the Spirit Monarch, right? And then for the Mercenary, of course, we need... I mean, I can go... offensive, defensive, it doesn't really matter too much, I don't think. All that matters is that we have this guy. Level 93, even higher level than me, so I don't need to worry about that. Inventory, Merc, and then of course this is where I would import some... I would import the Ebb Insight. Alright. And then the rest of... I mean, it doesn't really matter beyond that, what I throw on them. The Ebb Insight is what matters the most, so that I don't run out of mana as quickly. But otherwise, yeah. Helmet. Andy's visage, why not? Alright. There you go. So now, I've saved the character just to show you guys one more time what it looks like. This is the Merc. Insight, Treachery, and Andy's visage as a temp. And then finally, I'm probably going to put some facets on in the stash so I can socket the helmet. Well, the helmet, the weapon, and the armor. And that should boost my damage by a bit. Probably, if I were to guess, not enough, but still worth a shot nonetheless. So laggy. I don't know why. Alright, cool. We're just about ready. As you guys can see, one last time, this is what the stash looks like. So now, let's go over to right here. Oh shit, and I actually forgot that I didn't actually save it when I had allocated the points, but that's no big deal. That's no big deal at all. This might take me a bit of time. Okay, there you go. So, maxed out everything here. And then, of course, I gotta stuff this and this, this and this, this and that. And I think we're pretty much set. Before I do anything else, though... Oh, yeah, right. I also need to configure the controls, or set the hotkeys again. Kind of annoying, but it has to be done. F6, F1, F3... And I think my character is ready. Oh, wait, nope, one last thing. I also need... I actually also need to have my call to arms ready, too. Okay, great. So this is my character. I'm going to leave her in Act 2. So that, of course, I can actually get a proper runtime in. So, go here, talk to Wariv. I hop over to Act 2. Call to arms, hop into ancient tunnels, and then the goal is, of course, just to hit the champ pack specifically with this build. So you can see the damage here is just not all there, or the damage is, it's not terrible, but it's not as quick as it should be for these runs. At least I'm not running out of mana, though, with CTA. So you can see this run took 35 seconds. That's not too bad. Just for clearing champ packs alone, that's actually not that bad at all. The question is, though... Here, I'm going to try this one more time, see if I can drop down the time a little bit better now that I'm a bit more used to the routine. Anyway, let's pretend that I actually killed that. Oh, yep, nope, it's dead. Alright. So, teleport here, kill this. Teleport here, kill this. Move up here, and there's nothing, and then that's the end of the run. So 28 seconds with this character. The thing to keep in mind is this is a really good AT map, with about 5 champ packs. When I was running my the AT earlier with my Poison Necro, I was getting maps that were slightly less generous. But you can kind of see the ideas here. I can run these ATs in about about 30 seconds with the Sork. Usually what I would do is I'd probably run about 10 ancient tunnels, and then I would try to average out the times. And then I would also use different maps. I would keep re-rolling the map, right? That's not difficult to do. In fact, I can even show you how it's done. I would just go here. I would just go Nightmare. And then I would hop back over to Hell mode, and already that will re-roll the map. And then I would start the run from scratch, and then I would repeat this process about 10 times to get a good average. I mean, a good enough average. You can see already, AT is actually a little bit farther this time, and the run itself is does take a bit more time now. So.
It might also help if I use static field to open up. There you go. Almost done here. Like how none of these guys dropped a single full rejuve. Oh yeah, and then this guy's immune to a cold, which is an unusual case, but it can happen from time to time. So there you go. The run took about 43 seconds, focusing only the champ packs. So you can see that the map layout can have a pretty massive impact on how long it takes to do these runs. With that in mind, again, this Frost Nova Sork, we would now begin to try and tailor it towards what we want it to do. Like, what do we value the most? How can we try to hit 500 MF while maintaining while hitting a higher clear speed, right? Or is that just not possible? Well, the answer is, like, there are some sacrifices that have to be made if we want to make this build do those things, right? If we want this Frost Nova Sword to do those things. Namely, what we could do is we could reduce the faster cast rate on this build, namely get rid of Spirit, and then replace this with a 4-isted Spirit Monarch. That would reduce our faster cast rate, that would reduce the reduce our damage, and but that would actually boost by our MF by about 100. And then we'd hit this magical arbitrary value of 500 MF, and that, and then all rejoice. But is it worth it? I don't think it is, personally. Another thing we could do, we could replace a bunch of these 7MF small charms for cold skiller GCs, but then we lose out on, this is 7x3, sorry, 8x3, so 24 by 7, that's 168. We'd go down from 428 to about 250 MF. But I'm pretty sure that if we did that, then we'd gain the damage we need. In fact, I can actually probably test that right now. I think I will. And we'll see just how much faster it is with having a lot of MF, with having a lot more damage, but a lot less MF, right? So you can see there's some pretty big trade-offs here that have to be reached. So now, if I just sacked all this, your Cow King had a heart attack and died, it seems. May the king rest in peace. Oh, yeah, that's right. It definitely did. If you're talking about this specific character. So, let me just... since these guys don't have much cold res... Yes, exactly. You're catching on fast. The lowest cold res that monsters can have is negative 100, or that anything can have, really. So with that in mind... trying to go and throw on a bunch of like something like Infinity or a lower res one would be absolutely redundant, unless, as you saw earlier, I come across a unique monster that's cold immune. But again, I think Insight makes more sense, because then you're less likely to run out of mana, which is another limiting factor that we don't have to worry about if we have the Insight. And yeah, you get the idea. Okay, next question was from BMFN. Is the concept of letting Merc kill champs for MF2 slow for the job at hand? Ah, another really good question. Now, the answer to that is, it again depends. For a Sork, I would say yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it's too slow. The reality is, a Merc can kill, like... maybe, let's say, 3 or 4 monsters a second, whereas Frost Nova, you cast it, and you can hit, like, 8 monsters in a single cast. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm being ambitious with that number, too, for the Merc. Single target is always going to be slow. Well, if we're trying to, like, kill champ packs, like, entire champ packs, not just a single monster, but... a unique monster and all of its minions, then we need AoE of some kind. Now, the reason why I'm saying that it's viable for us to do this is because if we were using a Necro, we could set up a Corpse Explosion Mancer, where the idea here is we get a Merc to get 1 kill, and then we just nuke everybody else with Corpse Explosion. And the beauty of this build is you can actually stack 700 MF with it, but of course the caveat here is that your Merc's the one doing the killing. and that can take some time. So again, trade-offs. But that one, yeah. Ev 3 socket Tomb Reaper and buff them up with enchant is what I was thinking. Oh, that's a really good idea. I'm wondering if it would be better to just use EBOTD for that. From my understanding, the strongest single target weapon, or the strongest weapon for like raw damage on a merc is EBOTD in either a war pike or from what ZZ had said in the past, Ghost Spear. So yeah. But just looking at this character, I'm gonna give this another attempt, and just to recap. So this is with all of the Frost Nova skillers, or cold skillers. You can see that. Okay, so let's just pretend that this is actually a really bad run. Like, this is an unusually bad run. Where 4 of the 5 unique monsters somehow, four of the 6 unique monsters spawn cold immune. Let's try that one more time. That's a very, very unusual case. Although that also kind of begs the question, like, with a Poison Mancer, you'd never have to worry about that because lower res is always an option, so you don't lose out on any run efficiency. Okay, so that pack's dead. And that's that. That's the end of the run. 27 seconds with so we actually went from having like a run that was about 30 seconds to about 25 seconds when we have this extra damage, right? It makes sense because without all of these charms, we are doing only 1300 damage. With the charms, we're actually doing about 1700 damage. And keep in mind, like, this is doubled because of Cold Mastery too. So yeah, it's like the difference between 2400, or I think it was 1300 earlier. So that's like 1300 versus 1800. It's 2600 versus about 35. Well, hold on a sec. Let me just double check that. 1767 times 2. That's basically 3500, right? And then without it, we're only hitting 26, basically 2700. So that's like it's not really as dramatic as I would have expected, to be honest. But I guess the point here is just, actually, I don't know. I feel like Kerm's Sork was doing a lot more damage than this one even, but maybe, I don't know. I feel like I'm doing something wrong here, but anyway. Merc MF is combined with your MF when he kills, just trying to think of ways to stack more. Oh yeah, no. Well, here's the thing, right? Like yeah, you could stack a shit ton of MF on your Merc. It makes sense. But it's only when he gets the kill that buff. Yeah, like in my case, I'm trying to come up with a way to like basically beat going Poison Mancer and just mopping the floor with everything. Like here's the thing, right? Like, if you rock a Poison Mancer and you go into AT, and then you can like have 400 to 500 MF on a Poison Mancer, and you could probably run the AT, like you can run AT in about 30 seconds, right? And the only other build I could think of that could really compete with that speed and with that clearing power was maybe like a Frost Nova Sork. But I think with the Frost Nova Sork, it can compete in terms of clear speed, but what it can't compete in is it has the trade-off either FCR, MF, or killing power. Like, you can't have all three with the Frost Nova Sork, as far as I can tell. Whereas with a Poison Nova Mancer, you can have all of it. If we're talking about Merc MF, like, we can actually combine it with whatever character you're using. Like, let's say, like, if I were playing like a Sork and I only stacked MF with a bit of FCR, or if I went Necro, you know, I know that there's some Necros who rock like 700 MF, and then, You know, they just go around bombing everything with corpse explosion. I guess you could throw on like an Ev Tomb Reaver and then triple-ist it, but then you have to wait for your merc to do the killing, which again, you get a little bit extra MF whenever your merc gets the kill, but you kind of have to wait for your merc to get the kill, whereas normally you could just cast a spell and kill them all, which is much faster, right? Like that I think is the main trade-off. But anyway, yeah, I don't even know if Fatty's still around, but yeah, that's pretty much the end of my demo, I think, because I think he's gone. And I think, Seth, I showed you what I needed well, I showed you what I needed to show. That's usually how my theory crafting building process goes. At this point, probably what I would do is I'd play around with different options, like in this case, it's apparent to me that I'm not really going to be getting much more damage on my Frost Nova no matter what I do. I could probably sub out Spirit for like a 5/5 cold faceted Monarch or something, but that's not really, I really don't think that'll add much at all. Like it won't be significant enough that it's worth losing out on FCR, and I mean I'm already getting +2 to all skills from this, right? So that's, and mana and Vit and everything else. I have FBR, and don't ask why I have increased chance of blocking FBR on this Monarch. It's just laziness. Off to bed, it's early, haven't been sleeping well lately. Thanks for the stream, showing the theory crafting was tons of fun. I'm glad to hear it. I hope that you mean that in earnest, because yeah, this is usually what I do, right? Like, this is what I sat down and did back when I was trying to theory craft away for Dewskrim to get 400 MF on his Druid, while somehow hitting 163 FCR, or I think it was 99 FCR actually, and also hitting a good amount of damage on his Hurricane, and I think we did that via snapshotting his Hurricane or something. Anyway, I don't know, but you kind of get the idea. This is kind of how I theory craft, and I also sometimes play around with different setups too. That was the case when I played with, I think his name was Istaria, there you go. Istaria was really trying to come up with like an immortal Sork that had a lot of different things about it. A lot of different like perks that it had, or a lot of different perks like, oh, well, it has max block, it has, you know, basically maxed out res, faster block rate, and so on and shit like that. And I had to like really look at like Amazon Basin and see which items give these bonuses, and then I put them all together, and then I made his immortal sword for him. Oh, the theory crafting. It's like the stream behind the stream. Yeah, no, for sure. And usually I don't show this because I don't want to theory craft for a character and show you guys essentially what I'm going to be trying to surprise you guys with next season. However, I don't see myself playing a Frost Nova Sork anytime soon, and this is for Fatty, so yeah, I think it totally makes sense that I get to show you guys kind of how, like, my theory crafting process as I go about doing things, right? Again, I have to factor in a lot of different things like play styles, because, you know, if I were trying to theory craft a character for you, Seth, then I wouldn't be using like a full inventory. I'd of course be using a cube, and I'd leave one slot open, and probably you'd have your own set of specifications. So if ever you want me to try and theory craft your fire druid for you and help you out with that, I'd be happy to do that next time, next week even, if you would like. That sounds like a lot of fun. And you can kind of see my thought process as I make the character then. All right. So you have yourself a good night. I hope you enjoyed this short little demo. Unfortunately, what this means is I'm probably going to be cutting the stream a little bit short. I'm not going to be able to hit the 200 run mark that I wanted to hit, but you got to see something pretty cool and unusual. So yeah, something for you to look forward to for the rest of your week. That should be something fun. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you next Wednesday when I'll be able to try and showcase because you said you want to make a fire druid. Night, man. And also, if Coaster pops in, tell him I said night too. Okay, sounds good. And User Miss was also saying great demo. Thanks, User Miss. I appreciate it. Really, I do. I always love showing you guys these kinds of cool things. I don't know how many people take a keen interest in them, though, because, again, like, I do these, well, I mean, in some regards, it's not that interesting. It's really not that interesting to show like I guess. Well, it is kind of interesting, but at the same time, I don't usually get many chances to show it. I guess is the main thing. Um, well, you get the idea. Man, I've been theory crafting for an hour now. That's crazy. Yeah, so that was an hour. Like just going over all of that alone was about an hour. So let's go back to it. D166 is the next game name. I'm actually only gonna push for run 175 tonight. I think that's all I have left in me. I'm not really like sleepy, but I'm not really. I think I'm pretty. I don't really feel like straining myself today. Maybe later. Okay. Okay, I don't quite know what happened here. It looks like they're like mited. Yeah, it definitely looks like they're mited with Fanat, because otherwise, under normal circumstances, my Merc and even myself would not be dying that quickly. Also, I need to find a way to refill my gold. Mana Burn, Aura Enchanted. Well, that's just lovely. Alright. Wow. Why am I having so many? Oh, you know what? I see. My Merc didn't have his Aura up. There you go. Alright. Anyway, yeah, so BMFN, you're new to the channel. What are you up to today? Like, what brought you over to Slash in the first place? I mean, I didn't get a chance to ask you. I've been so focused on doing this run, because for whatever reason, WSK is particularly dangerous today for some reason. Anyway, just to kind of give you a bit of a, because you came in at a really interesting time. I had just finished doing runs with my build for the season, which is the Martial Arts Assassin. Yeah. At this point, you can kind of see I'm trying to run WSK. 1,000 runs of WSK is my goal with this character by the end of the season. I don't know if I'll be able to do it by the end of the season, but I mean, you can kind of see the build, like kind of how the build works. A lot of people, when they play vanilla D2, they kind of overlook the Martial Arts Assassin, and for, I would argue, good reason. For most people, this assassin is just not very, like, there's not really much about it that's appealing. Like, it doesn't really have anything about it that stands out, but as you can see here, it holds its own. Curious to see what's good. I wondered what you doing 1,000 runs with, and to ask some Slash questions. I've enjoyed myself so far. Glad I came in. That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Really, I am. If you're ever interested in coming back, I usually am streaming on. I stream kind of irregularly on Sundays. I'm trying to make it a thing where I try to at least do 50 runs every Sunday. I feel like that would make it so that by the end of the season, I can actually, like, basically, I don't have the time to play this, like, every day or to stream every day, right? But I do. Crystal Sword. Anyway, yeah, but I do have time can try to make time once a week at least to play this build, just chat and chill with some really cool people like yourself and Seth from earlier, or Green K. Oh, okay, I almost died there. My fade wore off. But anyway, yeah, like I was saying, yeah, basically every Wednesday is usually when I'm around playing just a little bit of D2. Just playing this build, this character. I usually aim for about 50 runs, and I'm gonna guess this is gonna be in Nokazan. Oh, High Lords. Oh, that's a really cool find. Really good find for today. But yeah, that's basically my routine. Every Wednesday, try to do 50 runs with a martial arts assassin. Let me know if you have any questions about this character specifically, because this is your first time here, so I'm sure you might be curious about how the martial arts assassin works, or about my build, or just anything in general. Just, you know, I'm just here chatting and chilling with you guys, so yeah, just don't ever feel like you're asking too many questions, because, yeah, I'm always down to have topics to talk about, and just to talk with you guys while I do these runs, because, you know, I don't want to say it gets monotonous, but yeah, like, it's definitely a lot more fun when I have you guys to talk to while I do these runs. And I'm going to be doing a level 1 to 80 later on Sork on pod for a laugh. Definitely come back in when you're back on. Okay, well, that's awesome. Well, I'm now looking forward to it, because you seem like somebody who's also quite knowledgeable with different ways you could set up a character. And you were also the #1 Necro on pod, so that says something. But yeah, some really good ideas earlier with snapshotting and like trying to get a merc to do the killing. Again, I wasn't trying to sideline him at all or anything. I just, yeah, wanted to. Did I? Yeah, I casted Burst of Speed. No wonder. I'm like coming close to dying. But yeah, just for the record, you didn't ask about this, but I'm just gonna talk about it anyway quickly. Part of the motivation for me this season was I wanted to try the martial arts assassin, because it's a build I've never actually used before, and a lot of people say that it sucks. In fact, you probably already know this, especially because in Path of Diablo it got completely reworked for this very reason, I'd imagine. It just isn't really that good a character, and that's what a lot of people have been saying. I tried it myself, or for myself, to kind of see if I could make it work. And to be honest, it definitely does what I want it to do. Like, I can run WSK, and it never has to worry about any immunities, because it has 3 different types of damage innately. But it also doesn't really excel at this area at all either, or any area for that matter, compared to any of the other builds. And probably the one upside I can really think of for it is that at the very least, it's a very cheap build. I managed to get all of the Vita lifers with martial arts, and here's the thing too, I actually have one more even that I'll probably sub out the Geeds with at some point when I start trying to push for players 8 bales, which is my end goal. So it's pretty awesome. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I didn't think you were just throwing something I feel might be useful in. Just throwing something I feel might be useful in. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Kung Fu Joe? Nice to see you. Not going to be playing for too much longer, though. I'm just here until probably I hit run 175, I think would be a good stopping point. Okay, well that's good. That's good. Yeah. Because I always try to like, yeah. I mean, I always try to like make sure that like, if people have these ideas, like I try to listen and think about it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this might work, or that might work, or it might not work, or so on, right? Here. Here, I'm just, yeah, wanted to make, like, the goal of all of that was just to try and make, like, a character for Fatty that you could play with maximized MF and, optimal clear speed and also MF. And there are, like, so many different things to factor in. Like, you gotta factor in FCR, you gotta factor in killing power, and, of course, you gotta factor in MF, which I guess isn't, like, a ton of stuff, but when you're juggling all 3 of those, and then you gotta time them all, then it gets a little bit, wonky, of course, but anyway. Yeah, let me know how that 1 to 80 route goes, though. You said that you're gonna be doing it from scratch. Like, is that just gonna be all by yourself, like solo self-found, or like are you gonna be doing it with others? Like, what's your plan for all of that? Because I know not too long ago I was playing on Slash, and I thought it'd be really fun because I mentioned to you that we have something called access to multi-boxing, so we can have multiple characters open at like we can have up to 4 windows of the game open at once. I thought it'd be really cool if I could 4-box. Like, basically, I thought it'd be really cool to try and run 4 characters at the same time and see how long. Well, I didn't specifically aim to get to level 80. I just wanted to see how long it would take me to get to Hell Bale. So that was something I did not too long ago, and I really enjoyed that. Gave me a chance to really theory craft in a way I don't usually play, because normally when I'm playing on Slash, right, I'm playing, or I'm showing content for, well, I'm usually playing with a team of some kind. Okay, like I'm usually just rolling in and I'm just I'm usually playing with like a group of people on reset night, and I'm burr for 2 SOJs. Damn, dude, this fatty, you're loaded. Fatty, are you still around, by the way? Fatty, because here I gotta talk to Fatty because I did my whole demo, and I mean it'd be kind of pointless if he wasn't around for that. Yeah, I'll probably have to message him later about the VOD. I'll have 2. Okay. Let's see. 1 summon Necro, 1 Pally with Conviction, 2 Mages. No. Let me rephrase. I was trying to see how. Basically, I was speedrunning. Okay, I was basically doing a Slashdiablo type speedrun, not like a standard speedrun where you're just hopping along and. Yeah, like, not a standard speedrun where I'm just, like, cruising along and rocking my character, 1 character through all of the game. But a Slashdiablo speedrun where I can use map hack and multi-boxing, so I can have as many characters, well, I can rock whatever combination of 4 characters that could get me through the game, or I could just use 1 Blizzsork and then try to level up the other characters later, right? Like I just did it however I felt like. And the end goal, of course, is to make it to level 60. And also, not just make it to level 60 on 1 character, but to make it to level 60 on all 4 characters, and possibly to clear Hell Bale, depending on whether or not I wanted those characters to do Bale runs or not. Okay, that was a pretty good run. Okay, off to the next run here. Actually, what happened to my High Lords? Did I junk my High Lords by accident? Okay. No, I still have it. Good. Anyway, having said that, Kung Fu Joe, the way I ended up doing my speedrun was I used a Sork. Of course, I need a Sork for a speedrun to hell, because like teleport is key. Then I had an Assassin, and then I had a Paladin, and I had a like a Bow-Bar, basically. And there were 2 different paths that I took. Okay, I did 2 speedruns, or Slash speedruns is what I'm going to call them. I did one which I call Sort First, and then I did one where, well, sorry, I did a run where I tried to level all the characters simultaneously through the game, and then I tried to do another run where I leveled the Sort first, and then I leveled the other characters in AT second. And I had greater success in terms of how quickly I leveled the characters when I did Sort first, but I definitely got a lot more gear when I was playing through the game with all 4 characters simultaneously. Because I was able to take advantage of things like quest bug norm Bale drops, and the game was just easier to go through when I actually had access to a Bow Barb and a Conviction Paladin. So, yeah. Get the idea. Gonna be doing it solo in one go, hopefully. Solo in one go. What do you mean by one go? You mean like one go as in you're going to, you know, do it all in one sitting? That'd actually be freaking crazy. Like I'm all for it. Like that sounds like a lot of fun. You know, go hard or die trying, right? Or I don't know if you mean one go as in like you're playing on I don't know. I guess that's really the only thing you could mean with one sitting. Okay, okay. Yeah, oh man, that sounds like a lot of fun. Yo, best of luck, dude. Like that sounds like something that I should try doing in the future. Although I guess the only character I could really do that with is with a Sork on vanilla D2, so I don't know. And you're gonna do this all by yourself too? Damn. I don't know how easy it is to level on POD compared to vanilla, though, like compared to the original game, though. So that's something I'm kind of curious about, because I know that in the original game, like yeah, here we have multi-boxing, but trying to actually get through the game from level 1 like already takes like a couple of hours. With a Sork, which is the best case scenario, it might take you 3.5 or 3 hours or so. With any other class, it'll probably take you like 4 hours, 4.5, so on. The multi-box sounds really cool. We're not allowed to do that on pod. Yeah, I'm aware. Actually, I played on pod a while ago, and yeah, one of the things I noticed was that you don't actually get access to multi-boxing, which is interesting. It's interesting for a number of reasons. One of the reasons being that here on Slash, the fact that we have access to multi-boxing kind of inflates the number of users online, in quotes. But on POD, the fact that you have so many people without multi-boxing is kind of interesting. And I feel like also because you guys have no multi-box, it encourages people to play together in the same game. Whereas here, a lot of people are more self-sufficient. Like they can, you know, self-level, self-rush, and so on, right? So I don't know. Advantages in terms of XP, so probably easier on Slash with multi-boxing. Yeah, yeah. I didn't mean like easier in terms of like, I know Path of Diablo doesn't have like heightened XP rates or anything, but what I was thinking was, I know that like for a druid, just as an example, things like Poison Creeper got buffed, and they also now have access to Flame Dash. So for me, getting through the first 30 levels, well, first 40 levels, basically making it, well, yeah, first 30 levels with a druid is actually really easy, because you just use Poison Creeper and you can crush well over half the game just with the Poison Creeper alone. Basically what I'm trying to say is, because some of the things got buffed, I don't know if that makes it a lot easier to try and run through the game yourself, but I guess probably not. Okay, let's just pop that. I'm not gonna be able to walk out of this without using my rejuves. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, though. I'm really curious to see how that's gonna all turn out. And that also gets me thinking, because I never actually did finish what I was saying earlier. Usually when I'm playing on Slash, I'm trying to play with other people from the server, right? Like okay, I mean, like during ladder reset. So, oh fuck! I pressed 1. I pressed 1 because I thought I had a full rejuve there still, but I don't. I only had full rejuves left on slots 2 and 3. Also, I started taking a shit ton of damage, and that's probably because my fade wore off, since the run was taking just way too long. Way too long. That is my fault. Ah, fuck. I can't believe I died like that. That was such a stupid death. I was cheaping out on those potions because these are my last 3. Because for some fucking reason, none of the monsters are dropping me any R2s. Which is a pain in the ass. Anyway, whatever. Lost a fair bit of gold there. I needed to get gold from somebody at some point. Really wondering how long it's going to take for a jaw to drop so that I can just make my Enigma. Oh, fuck off, will ya? Stupid soul. Okay. Just want my body. Okay, there we go. Anyway, like I was saying, usually when I play on Slash, I like to play with a group of other people, and I like to see how long it takes us, all of us in the team, to all collectively make it to hell. Oh, summoning skills, GC, but I don't really care much for that. Anyway, yeah, but I've always wondered, like, I've always wondered how well I would do on a ladder reset if it was just myself. Yeah, because I also enjoy solo play. I also enjoy solo play and competing. And I feel like the easiest way to do that would indeed be to actually play by myself, right? In my opinion, Druid always been OP anyway, even vanilla. Oh yeah, I agree with that. Well, I mean, I guess OP and how much damage it does, definitely. Regarding the buffing potentially, but not so much. For Sork who keeps getting nerfed, teleport penalty lowered, synergies, etc. Yeah, which kind of makes sense. Like they were really, like from my understanding, they were really strong in vanilla. Well, they are really strong in vanilla. I can say that straight up. Like there's no other way for me to put it. But on Path of Diablo, they also have a number of things about them that are really strong. I think somebody a couple seasons ago coined the game as Path of So-So. Because I think like the craziest build that the people were using it for a time was actually Discharged Nova Sork or some shit like that. Yeah, and I think these light skillers were even going for something like Gull Rune each. I think at one point, I don't know, it was crazy, but I mean, again, I'm not as knowledgeable about Path of Diablo as you are, but yeah, I hear that definitely, yeah, they've been doing a lot to try and mitigate the Sork penalty, or well, penalize the Sork more and more for endgame because yeah, she's just so powerful. A bunch of the dick considerably last few seasons, but I feel yeah. I'm just speaking streak. I can't talk today. I really can't. I'm talking purely in terms of like yeah, a couple seasons back I heard that this was an issue, and even last season I think people were going like what, freezing pulse or whatever. So I know that yeah, a lot of people were actually curious to see what Green Dude would do for this season because yeah, they like I think a lot of people didn't want to see like Sork dominating again for like another season. But yeah, as you said, had to keep keep kicking it in the dick. That's it's a good way of putting it. That's essentially what happened, by my understanding. I'm just farming for rejuves, in case you're wondering what I'm doing. Actually, just realized, was this the same run that I finished? I think it was, right? Yeah, I want to have some more full rejuves, but anyway. Oh yeah, right. Gonna probably run that in a little bit. Do I think if D2 Remaster is real? No. Like, there's a lot of people who have been super optimistic about it, and the fact of the matter to me, and I'm glad you asked this because I always like to talk about this, like, and be like, I like to talk about this because I really want this to kind of like be heard. Okay, like. The thing is, there's a lot of people who are very optimistic about this D2 remastered without actually getting any real confirmation from the one group of people for whom it matters, or the confirmation matters the most, right? Obviously, I'm talking about Blizzard here. Like a lot of people are like, oh shit, yo, D2 remastered. There's rumors. Okay, well, let me point out a couple things. Okay, first of all. there's there's basically rumors for remasters every year. All right, like every year, somebody out there is gonna be like, "Oh shit, yo, hey, I heard that this, that." This happens all the time. Like there's people who have looked at there's people who did stuff like look at the job postings. I think this was what Riker or somebody else said. Like, apparently, like there was a job posting a while back where the job posting said something like, "Oh, we're aiming to try and bring Diablo back to its former glory." And everyone's like, "Oh, bring it back to its former glory? Then surely this has to be for Diablo 2 remastered, right?" Like, but no, it eventually turned out that that rumor devolved into none other than Diablo Immortal. Then what else can we look at, right? Like, let's look at how I think a lot of people were looking at the box art for Diablo. No, sorry, for BlizzCon. That's what it was. Yeah, one of the BlizzCons, the poster had like the Diablo from Diablo 2, but they didn't make any mention about Diablo 3, right? Everyone's like, "Wow, it's crazy. If it's the old art for Diablo 2, then surely they're gonna be doing something, announcing something for Diablo 2 remastered. This is gonna be huge." And then what did the announcement turn out to be? It turned out to be like Rise of the Necromancer, which of course is the second Diablo 3 expansion pack. Which again, I have no problem with them releasing expansion packs for Diablo 3. But the point that I'm trying to make here is just that like too often, there's a lot of people who jump on this bandwagon of, you know, they're going to be releasing something like Diablo 2 remastered, and this happens like every fucking year. Every fucking year, like somebody out there will make this claim, and then it gets spread around like wildfire. And Blizzard doesn't ever confirm anything, plain and simple. So I've always been very reluctant to try and trust rumors, is I guess just the gist of what I'm trying to say. Unless Blizzard themselves confirm it. Now that's the first thing I wanted to point out, right? The second thing to point out is even if they confirm it, that they're working on it, there's no guarantee that it's going to become a finished product necessarily. Like, look at Diablo Immortal. Like, they announced it, and then it just mysteriously vanished. Like, okay, it eventually got... I don't know, like, there's definitely a lot less noise for it than there should be. And even, like, Diablo 3, that was something which it got put in development hell for a really long time. For 10 years, in fact. Because Blizzard never actually finished it, right? So they could announce something, and then it could be, like... release never. Like, look at Diablo 4. How long is it going to take for Diablo 4 to come out? Like, that's something that was announced, like, earlier last year, and we still don't have a release date for it, or a fixed release date for it. I think we planned DLC for D3, now they're sweating because they're expecting a remaster. Maybe. Maybe. It could be. The other thing to consider, too, is, like, there's a lot of... Okay. I'm going to be honest. Right? Again, I'm probably the really unpopular opinion here, but I'm gonna just be real with you guys. I love Diablo 2, okay? At the end of the day, I would want nothing more for them to release like a good remastered version of Diablo 2. However, we also have to understand that there's a lot more people that are playing Diablo 3 than Diablo 2. I'm pretty sure. It's really hard to get the numbers on this, but yeah, Diablo 3 is like the more recent, like the more new game, and it's the game that's, I think, like a lot of more people make like a lot of the content creators make content for more so for Diablo 3 than Diablo 2. Like, look at Riker, look at people on Twitch, right? Like, yeah, Ryu gets like, you know, a couple thousand viewers on Diablo 2 when he does his speedruns, but generally, like, for the average Joe, there's a lot more people who watch them on Diablo 3. Anyway, my point here is, I don't know if, like, for us, I feel like sometimes we might be in a bit of an echo chamber, in the sense that for us, we would love to see a Diablo 3 remastered, but I don't know if Blizzard is really going to sweat it if, you know, you and I are expecting a Diablo 2 remaster and everyone in the Diablo 2 category is expecting a Diablo 2 remastered, when the other people who play Diablo 3 are not expecting a Diablo 2 remastered. Maybe they're expecting an expansion, right? I think, honestly, the only real, like, thing that caught everyone off guard was Diablo Immortal. Like, whether you were a Diablo 2 or a Diablo 3 player, Diablo Immortal was like something which no one really wanted, no one really asked for, and then when Blizzard announced it, it was just a big, like, kick to the nads, right? Like, there's no other way of putting it. Like, everyone was shocked. Like, the Diablo players were shocked, or the Diablo 2 players were shocked, the Diablo 3 players were shocked, and no one was really happy about that, despite all of the people who insist one version is better than the other. Right? Now, having said that, that was for Diablo Immortal, something that was not tied to either Diablo 2 or Diablo 3. But when Rise of the Necromancer got announced, no one said anything. There was no massive backlash or nothing. People were actually pretty hyped. People were pretty excited because a lot of people, believe it or not, actually do enjoy Diablo 3. Would they enjoy Diablo 2 more? Maybe. Maybe, like, a lot of the people who've played Diablo 3 actually have never played Diablo 2 in their lives. They only know Diablo 2. But the fact of the matter is, regardless of why they like Diablo 2 or whether they like Diablo 3 or not, they enjoy Diablo 3, so they'd of course be looking forward to a new version of Diablo 3 or a new expansion for it, which I think is totally okay. There was backlash over price. Okay, yeah, there's backlash over price, fair enough, but it's not like anyone's complain. Well, okay, like you and I, like I would probably complain that they're releasing another expansion for Diablo 3 for sure, but obviously it's not like it's a good game, but it shouldn't be called Diablo. Hey man, I'm in the same boat. Honestly, I think that Diablo 3, the gameplay on it it's not terrible. It's actually not as bad as people make it out to be. Like it's actually, I can see why people enjoy it. Of course, but here's the thing. First of all, I prefer Diablo 2 Leagues more. Like I gotta start off by saying that, obviously, right? Like, yeah, I mean, I'm playing Diablo 2 right now, even. Like, fine, fair enough. The second thing is, it just doesn't. I agree with you. It doesn't really feel like a Diablo game. Like, it feels like it's a completely in a completely different ballpark. Like, it just isn't really the same. I shouldn't say genre, but it doesn't even really feel like it's from the same universe. Walkie-talkie is amazing if you've never seen a cell phone. Yeah, that's a really good analogy, actually. I mean, I feel like that's kind of the situation, right? A lot of people who have never played or tried Diablo 2, and then they play Diablo 3, and they're like, oh, this is great. And then, let's be real here, like, there's going to be some people who, as heretics, somehow like Diablo 3 over Diablo 2, and they've played both. All of this is fine. All of this is fine. Honestly, everyone's different, right? But I guess just what I'm trying to say, I don't want to... I'm like going all over the place, partially because I'm half trying to concentrate on doing these runs too. But just what I'm trying to, like, my main point, BMFN, is just that I don't really think that Diablo 3, an expansion for Diablo 3 would receive as much negative backlash as you might think. If you're hanging around in the Diablo 2 category, then you're definitely going to have a lot of people who are going to share the same opinion, right? Because we're essentially an echo chamber. If you're hanging out in like a Diablo 2 centered channel, then of course the people here are going to prefer Diablo 2 the most. and they're probably gonna dislike anything that's okay. There we go. They're gonna probably dislike anything that's associated with Diablo 3, right? So I'm kind of like, but that might not be representative of like the general opinion, or maybe the better way of putting this is, it might not actually be the opinion that the majority of people who play Diablo or play something from the Diablo series have. Is, I guess, all I'm trying to say. Okay, that's I guess what I have to say with regards to the expecting a remaster. You and I'd love to see a remaster. I wouldn't expect it to happen. There's a lot of people who expect a remaster to happen, but who might be sorely disappointed. And I honestly don't think Blizzard is going to lose out on any sleep or even cash because of it, to tell you the truth. But just going back to the whole remastered, I really just... I think what I have to say about it is just that people are getting their hopes up too high for over nothing. That's really, if I could sum up what I want to try and say in like 10 words, that would be it. People are getting excited over essentially nothing, and we're so, like, a lot of people are so quick to forget that like the same like routine happens every year. Like, every now and then everyone's like, oh shit, it might be a remastered, but it's usually not, and it's usually some level of disappointment that everyone's just like, man, it's not Diablo 2 remastered? Like shit, what are these guys thinking? And, well, and then it's like, yeah, it's a big kick to the Neds. And then, of course, the other thing I wanted to point out, this is the point I want to really hit home. After seeing Blizzard release Warcraft 3 Reforged, do we really trust them to do a proper Diablo 2 remastered? I don't know, man. That's tough. Gotta be careful with what we wish for, because if we look at what happened in Warcraft 3, well, the Warcraft 3 remaster managed to accomplish two things, actually. The first thing is that it managed to disappoint a shit ton of people, and the second thing is that it managed to divide up the Warcraft 3 player base. Because now there's some people who are playing remastered, or reforged, and there's some people who are playing the original. Right? So, with this in mind, you gotta tell me, which of these would you want to have be the case at the end of the day, right? So, yeah, those are my thoughts. Don't want it remaster. I want an expansion pack personally for D2 would be the best thing. Yeah, no, it makes sense. It honestly makes sense. I really don't think it just... I mean, don't get me wrong. I 100% would be on board with this, of course, right? Like, I'd love it. I would love to see them release an expansion pack for Diablo 2. But think about this, right? Think about this very carefully. When have you ever seen it be the case that when a sequel to a game has come out, that they're still going to be releasing expansion packs for it, for the game that had its sequel get released, right? Like the closest thing I could think of to this is like World of Warcraft, I guess, right? But like World of Warcraft versus World of Warcraft Classic, but I don't even count that. Like that's not even, like, that's not really what we're talking about here. We're talking about like a game that gets a successor of some kind, and you know, Blizzard is going to go out of their way to try and go back to Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, right? The most recent version of the game came out. Like yeah, I mean, like this isn't like Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, right? Where okay, they're still releasing patches for vulnerabilities. No, it's like when it comes to like video games, when the latest version comes out, that's usually all a game franchise, like a game studio tends to care about. And every now and then they might do some like balance, or not balancing tweaks, but they might do some like quality of life changes. They might try to like try and release a patch to improve compatibility. They might try to like fix some like game-breaking exploit or exploits. I know that this was the case with like Black Ops 2 for Call of Duty, right? Because apparently the game was unplayable for some people up to a certain point. But you know, like when a new game comes out, that's it. Like that's honestly it. I know, but they are a $1 billion company. Many talented developers would do it for free, and they could just stamp Blizzard on. I see it as a total win. Okay, if that games, okay, first of all, I don't really know how many people would be willing to work for free. That I don't really. I hate to say it, but I don't agree with that. Just because, like, people who are like, I don't know. I don't really know many people who are super talented at making games who would just say, hey, yeah, I'm just going to do this for free. There's a reason these people are, you know, are employed at, like, big companies. Like, they're good at their job, and, you know, they get paid well. Like, they get paid a lot, right? And it's like, why would they ever want to work for free when people will always be willing to pay for them, right? Like think about this carefully. If you have a guy who's like a super skilled like a programmer or whatever, you're not gonna be able to just tell them, hey, yeah, work on this. Can you work on this Diablo 2 project for free for me, please? Okay, thanks. That's just not gonna happen. That's honestly just not gonna happen. That's just not how. That's just not how businesses work. Like if I were to tell you right now, like, hey, could you like make a video for me, and then I get to, you know, slap my logo on it, and then I get to claim it as my own? You wouldn't want to do that, right? And it's the same way with developers or programmers or whatever. Those guys, like, I'm not saying that they're selfish. It's just that, you know, time is valuable, and everyone knows that. And you're not going to want to spend your time doing something for free for a $1 billion company when they can very clearly pay for something like that, right? So that's just my 2 cents on the matter. The accolade of working at Blizzard. But yeah, if you're gonna work at Blizzard though, you should get paid for that kind of thing. I think a 20-year-old game isn't the same as developing Overwatch. I mean, I get it, but again, like, I don't personally know many people who would be willing to do that. Like, plain and simple. If you want the prestige of working at Blizzard, then you should be paid to work at Blizzard. In fact, I don't even know if it's legal to basically be free, cheap labor, right? Like, Green Dude does it for free. That's true, but that's like a side project. That's the difference. Like, it's a side passion project of his. It's not something that he's specifically being tasked to do by like a big company like Blizzard. That's the difference. The difference in context matters a ton. It's the difference between effectively working for yourself and work as, you know, as volunteer work, and working for a massive $1 billion company. Like, think about this, right? Like, be real with me for a second. If Blizzard contacted you telling you, hey, could you work on a Blizzard Diablo 2 remastered for us for free, right? And this would take hours. Keep in mind, this would take like dozens of hours of your week probably, or maybe you do like 2 or 3 hours a week even. That's still valuable time, right? But you need a lot more than 3 hours a week to do this project and see it through. Like, if Blizzard and let's assume you had the skills to actually work on a modded version of Diablo 2, or like a remastered version of Diablo 2, and Blizzard contacted you and requested you to do this for them for free, and you get to basically put it on your resume that, hey, I worked for Blizzard, but, you know, they're not going to pay you, right? Like, would you do it? I mean, maybe you would, but me personally, I wouldn't. Like, I love Diablo 2, but that's a huge time commitment, and I should be getting paid for something like that. And most people who have the skills to make such a mod, like Green Dude, they know what they're worth to those companies. They wouldn't just do it out of the blue for no. You'd snap his hand off personally in a heartbeat. All right, well, sure. Well then, well, yeah. I mean, I wish everyone were as charitable as you. Is unrealistic to wait for the reality that should be. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Then yeah, I mean, if that's the case, like, I don't know, man. I'm telling you, like, for most people, their time is more valuable than just doing something like that, like a massive project that takes hundreds of hours for free. Like, I don't know how many people realize just the amount of work that would actually go into something like that. Or maybe it doesn't take as much work as I might think. I don't know. I agree they should be paid, absolutely, and that's the biggest problem, right? At the end of the day, Blizzard's a company. They have to weigh the costs and the benefits or whatever. I don't think that they evaluate the cost. Oh wow, reduce, fucking finally. I don't think that they value, like, I don't think that they believe that releasing a Diablo 2 remastered would be as profitable as we think it would be. I really think that's where the divide lies. Want it bad enough, they would do it for free out of passion. Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. There are people who would do it for free out of passion, but like, how would Blizzard? Basically, how would Blizzard ask for free labor? How would they go about doing that, right? How exactly would they go about doing, like, asking for free labor? Like, they just go around asking people, hey, could you work on this project for us? Like, I mean, I guess would just look for good for Blizzard as a company to basically ask really talented developers to basically make a new product for them for free, like. We're like a multi-billion dollar company that wants you to work for us for free. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. That's exactly what I'm trying to say right now. Like, it just, it actually would not look good on them. In fact, it would be the opposite. It would be the complete opposite. Like, this is one of the very few companies who could fund a remaster, and what, they're not going to pay the people who are working on it? And if they were to pay the people who, if they were not, anyway, I don't know. And we'll make a ton of money on it. Yeah, exactly. Like how bad is that, right? Like, how would that make any sense? In fact, I don't even know if that's legal. I actually don't even know if that's legal, to tell you the truth. Like, you can't just employ people to work on something for you for free, and then to, like, that's basically I don't want to say that's slavery. That's like a pretty loaded analogy, but that's essentially what you're basically getting people to do. You're not paying them to work on this project at all. It's like, what the fuck? Really, they're a big evil company, it seems, up their street. Okay, but already, like, they're considered evil for not really listening to people who are asking for a Diablo 2 remastered, or Diablo 4, or an expansion pack for Diablo 3. Like now they're gonna take this extra step, and they're going to listen to these people, but they're gonna also doubly cheap out, and I don't know, man. That's fuck. That's actually pretty fucked. Oh wow, that's actually a pretty crazy small charm. Yeah, that's something worth charting down as a drop. I mean, it's not like I can sell it, but 10 gold find and 11. 10 gold find and 11 poison res small charm. Shit, that is run number 174. Probably the only useful find I've gotten in the last couple hundred runs. Anyway, that's the end of this run. I'm backing out. Anyway, slavery implies force. Alright, well, that's not the right word I'm looking for. That's really not the right word that I'm looking for. It's, fuck. They're asking for free labor. That's what it was. I think that's the right term. Free labor. At that point. a multi-billion-dollar company asking for free labor. Like if ever they were considered scumbags before, and they are kind of scummy, they would have to go to a whole new level of scummy to try and like to actually have the nerve to ask people to work on a passion project for them for free, when they definitely, absolutely, 100%, and it cannot be denied, have the money to pay these people. Anyway, so that's I'm telling you, man, that's fucked. Like they're not gonna do that. And besides, this is all assuming, right? This is all assuming that they would actually listen to people from the Diablo community, or they would be willing to take that step and you know put in a couple, you know, let's say a couple $1,000,000 to try and see what a Diablo 2 remastered would actually turn out to be like, which the reality is they just don't seem to be interested in taking those risks. Like, for whatever reason, either they're like, this is the thing, I'm not in Blizzard's shoes, I don't know. Either they're choosing to ignore the people, which I don't think is the case, I'm pretty sure they know, or they're just not willing to give it a shot, right? I'm pretty sure the latter is just the realistic option. It is impossible in my eyes that they could like turn a deaf ear to everything, that despite so many people on forums, um, on like BlizzCon and so on, YouTube, whatever, that are asking for like Diablo 2 remastered or for Diablo 4, that they don't know that there is some level of interest for it. I just think that probably what's going on is that they just don't want to do it. Like, they probably just looked at how much it might cost, and they look at how much they might get in return for it, and they're like, nah, let's just work on other stuff instead. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on, because, like, really, like, what other explanation is there, right? That they're just ignoring everyone who wants the Diablo 2 Remastered, that they're trying to blue ball us or something? Like, no, I'm pretty sure that's not the case. There's the right word, but if the people offer to do it, then why not? Yeah. I don't know, man. Again, like, they would need to have the willingness to try and explore Diablo 2 Remastered in the first place, which I don't even think that interest is there. But even assuming that interest is there, then they need to find people who, as you yourself are trying to say right now, like you said, if the people are offering to do it, then why not? Like, they need to find people who are offering to do it, right? And the easiest way for them to do it, again, like is for them to ask, which is, again, like, that's probably not going to happen as a multi-million-dollar company, especially if, again, I don't really think that's legal in the first place. And then the other option is they have to actually reach out to those, well, they could wait around and wait for somebody to offer to do it for them. And the reality is, I don't see anybody who's willing to do that for free. And beyond that, right, like it's not as simple as just finding somebody to do it. You have to set up a contract, right? And what happens if they don't deliver on what they promise? Right? You got to give them a timeline. You got to invest. Like, it's not a one-man show either. You can't just get one person to do everything. Okay, maybe there's like some super talented person who could do everything. But again, like, that person would need to come forward. Like, there's just so many things. It's not as simple as just being like, oh, I'm just going to run the remastered, right? Like I would venture to guess that despite your goodwill, like, you know, you yourself said, like, you'd be willing to do this kind of thing for free if you had the skills. But here's the thing. Like, you and I, we don't have the skills for this kind of thing. It'd be a pretty tall order to find some really skilled developer who's just straight up willing to do this for free, and who's not just willing to do it for free, but that's actually going to go out there and announce to Blizzard, hey, yeah, I'm willing to just do this for you guys, and you guys can just slap your name on it. Like, you see what I mean here? Again, I'm not... I love the idea. I would love to see Diablo 2 remastered, if nothing else, because I want to be able to relive the glory days myself too, right? But at the same time, I just, again, like, there's a lot more requirements than one might think to actually getting a remaster like this set up. And the fact of the matter is, there's just not that many people who are talented, who are willing to work for free, and who are going and out there and being like, hey, Blizzard, I'm willing to just do this big project for you, which will probably take uh, dozens, if not hundreds or thousands of hours to work on, and you guys don't have to pay me a dime, and you guys can slap your name on it. Like think about this. It's crazy. Like all of these things put together. I mean, that's a tall order to have somebody with all these requirements. Green Dude, right? Look at Green Dude. This is probably the best example I can give you right now. Green Dude is somebody who has sunk in, I would imagine, hundreds of hours on Path of Diablo, right? He does this voluntarily as his own personal project. It's his product. If Blizzard were to reach out to him and say, "Hey, Green Dude, you gotta would you like to try to work for us?" Or better yet, if Green Dude were to try and offer his services to them, actually, why would he try to offer his services to them? For the greater good of Diablo 2? Like, nah, man. I'm pretty sure he does Path of Diablo because it's his thing, right? Like, he doesn't want to be like some guinea pig for Blizzard having to, abide by their contract or whatever. Like, he has the freedom to make the game how he wants. There's, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff there. It's complicated. It's honestly probably super complicated. A lot more than we might expect. Yeah, so maybe they're trying to suck and we just don't know. Maybe. Again, like, what is it that they tried? Like, they tried to ask around if people were willing to make a Diablo 2 remastered for them, or better yet, maybe they already have a Diablo 2 remastered product of some kind, but they just never released it because they deemed it garbage. Right? All these are possible. Very possible. But again, yeah, the Diablo, like, this Diablo 2 expansion just isn't here, and I don't think that in this lifetime I'm going to see somebody who's going to go out to Blizzard and just be like, hey, yeah, I'm willing to work for you for free, and you guys can just slap your name on this, and I will put hundreds of hours into making this expansion without you guys having to spend a penny. Like what? That's just, I think that's too much. I honestly think that's too much. At the end of the day, though, I'm gonna end off the stream on this. That was my last run, run 175. I'm pretty much done for the night. I don't really feel like going much farther than this, to tell you the truth. I will be back next week, of course. It was a good set of runs again. Big shout out to BFNM, newcomer to the channel, and also bringing up this expansion, the remaster, as a huge, big topic that I was able to chat about for these last probably dozen runs of WSK. And of course, yeah, it was fun to talk a little bit about Path of Diablo 2. I think they're done just because they're the righteous thing to do. Okay, yes, righteous thing to do. Like, it is. They are, yes. But there needs to be some incentive for these people too, right? Like, I'm telling you right now, like, for a lot of these people, even if they see it as the right thing to do, they're not just going to do it because it's the right thing to do. Especially, like, under those conditions. If it's, like, volunteer work, fine, but, like, if it's volunteer work for, like, some cause, like, yeah, there's some people who are, like, starving out on the streets, and, there's people who will go and try to hand out food to the homeless, or who will try and, like, try and do like a food drive for the needy or the poor, or they'll try to like build housing or whatever. But this is like not any of those things, right? Like this is, yeah, this is like completely different ballpark. At the end of the day, again, we could keep going in circles about this. I've said what I've needed to. But end of the day, I really just don't think this is going to happen. I don't think that developers are going to be going out of their way to do this kind of thing. But I will say this: I would love to see an expansion for D2. I would still personally prefer to see a remastered version of D2, because for me, Diablo 2 already has. We already have like Path of Diablo, Resurgence, and like Median, and all of these kind of act as like an unofficial expansion already for this game. And I feel like what I care about most, what I would want to see for Diablo 2 from here on out, is just a bot-free environment where Diablo 2 is popular again. And that's it. What I mean by popular is like you know how when WoW Classic came out, like it was the talk of the town for about a month, 2 months, 3 months, or probably not that long, but dude, it was hyped. Like everyone wanted to get on board with this. Like, you know, there were hundreds of thousands of people on Twitch waiting or watching. I think it was Asmongold. Like, I think that for me was really cool to see. And I would love to see that for Diablo 2 on a much smaller scale, because I just don't think there's as many people who played Diablo 2 as for World of Warcraft, obviously. But it would be nice to see the remastered version come out, because it would definitely bring a lot of people back to the game, which is something that I never like, that I always missed out on when I was which is something that I missed out on in the game's release, because I didn't play Diablo 2 when it first came out, but I only started playing it after version 1.10, right, or 1.10. I would love to see, I would love to be able to play on BattleNet, where there's no bots, there's no dupes, there's no stupid fucking D2JSP for just one ladder season, and everyone actually has to work for their own items and play through the game properly themselves with no map hack, no multi-boxing, and just the way the game originally was. And for there to be thousands of players online at one time. And my life would be complete. I could die happy after that. Honestly, that would be it. That would be the end for me. I could finally rest in peace after that. So that's really the end for me, man. That's all I wanted to say. Diablo 2 Remastered would be something that I really would look forward to, and I would thoroughly enjoy. I just don't see it happening for a very long time, because I really just don't think that that's what Blizzard has in mind for the future. All right, and that's really all I wanted to say about it. The most important part of a Diablo 2 Remaster is making bad uniques useful, especially the higher rarity items, looking at Uterials. So, again, remastered, like, when we talk about a remaster, my understanding of a remaster has always been that you're keeping the core game the same, but you're fixing up the graphics. That's what I always thought a remaster is. When you say you're gonna, like, that they can also, like, tweak up the uniques, would they then also adjust the drop rates on runes? Would they try to rebalance the skills on certain characters? I feel like all of these, like, it's kind of a slippery slope. If they're going to change one thing, then there's going to a long list of things that they probably should change as well, right? And that's not even factoring in that the number one thing that they should change, I would argue, isn't even making uniques more useful. It's actually that they should really be getting rid of a lot of the bugs that existed in the original game that never got addressed, right? Like e-bugging, for example, shouldn't exist. Like, I feel like it would make more sense for them to tackle on the existing problems in the game before they try and address some of the things that don't really need to be changed. Like, sounds like you want POD without character. Yes, yes, yes. Actually, yes. Yes. I want POD without character skill changes. I could not have put it better myself. Actually, the main reason why I don't play, or one of the biggest reasons I don't play on, well, anyway, no, that's its own discussion. I'm not going to talk about that right now. That's next week's topic. Yeah, I'll be here all night if I go into that. But yes, actually, because POD, it has a good player base, and you know, you can't access, you don't have map hack, you don't have multi-boxing. I'll admit the drop rates, I don't really care much about the drop rates personally. But yeah, the character skill, not just the character skill changes. Sorry, there's I got to take a step back there. It's not just the character skill changes that bother me. It's also the fact that they changed the items and particularly the rune words. Yeah, like that's one reason why I still play Slash over POD, because even though, yeah, they changed the way declone spawns, they didn't try to like mess around with Sork Teleport. They didn't try to nerf Enigma or Infinity. It's the original Diablo 2 that I know and that I grew up with, right? Changing frame rate is the main thing because we'll warp breakpoints. See, that's another thing too. That'd be pretty cool to see, you know, remastered for some people. I'd imagine. Honestly, I don't really even really. It would be cool to see some of those changes. I admit, but for me, the number one thing that they should deal with, bots and dupes. Okay, like those things have to go. I would want to play a remaster just for one season without bots and dupes, and that is it. Not even the first season. The first probably, let's say, week, like somebody will probably develop a bot of some kind, but the first week, if I could just play a fucking bot-free Diablo 2, where it was like vanilla-esque, right? Like vanilla-esque in the sense that people have to run bail runs together, you know, no modified rune words, no modified characters. I would really enjoy that. So, yeah, with regards to the bad uniques, I can, again, like, there's a lot of uniques that really didn't get a chance to shine. It would really be cool to see those get tweaked up a little bit, but I don't. For me, again, as like personally, just for me personally, I just want the Diablo 2 that I knew, that I grew up with, without any changes, without the bots. Yeah, that's as again. Yeah, if they change the uniques and whatnot, if they made Tyraels with like +1 teleport again, I don't really think I'd shed any tears over it in a remastered version. But yeah, yeah, number one for me. No bots, no dupes, and none of this fucking real world money trading or whatever. That shit was so garbage. But yeah, that's basically it for me, guys. I think. Thank you for coming out to my TED Talk, but that's where I will be drawing the line for the night. I'm going to be heading off now, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream today. Hope you all had fun. I'll be back again next Wednesday, hopefully, is my intention, with this stupid jank build. Again, 25 runs, which is pretty garbage, but I mean, that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, and that's where I'm going to be signing off. So, or this is where I'm going to be hopping off. So, guys, again, thanks for tolerating my rants and rambles as per the usual. Hope you guys enjoyed that little discussion, and I know I really did. Yeah, good stuff today, guys. And well, yeah, that's basically that. GG's and thank you. No, thank you, BMFN. Yeah, I wish you the best of luck with the expansion of Diablo 2 for sure. Even a remastered. I think honestly both of us would be happy with just remastered. As pessimistic as I am, like at the end of the day, I'd still love to be wrong and to actually see this become a thing for sure, right? Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Hopping off now. So yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. This is D2D2 signing out.